What's happening? Welcome to the 36th episode of the Slapstream with Djordje live from Slapsville. I hope you all been doing good, and I hope you're gonna enjoy this special episode. I had a chance to talk about Conjunto Slap for a bit with Mark Rubin a few months ago, or 5 or 6 months ago. And I think we just touched that subject a little bit about San Antonio, conjuntos, and in general, like more of a Mexican approach to slap bass. As you probably, most of you are familiar, the slap bass is kind of essential part of Mexican music and Tex-Mex music. And you've probably seen all those videos with crazy upright bass players, jumping around with their basses and all of that. And a few months ago, I came across my today's guest, and it was actually thanks to Slapstream. So Kim Neckerman, my psychobilly guest, he sent me a few videos of my today's guest, and I checked them out. I was like, I have to get this guy, and it's on the show, and it's not it's not the easiest. Even he's like all over social media, and you should definitely follow him. I'll post his social handles in a little bit. And I checked out those videos, and I was pretty impressed. I was like, I never heard about this dude, but I want to have him on my show, and now it's finally the time. And without further ado, I would like to introduce my today's guest, and that's Manny Tololoche. Welcome.
How's it going, bro?
It's going good. How are you?
Doing good. How you doing?
Thanks a lot for being a part of the show.
Thanks,
36th episode.
thanks for the invitation, bro. I really appreciate this.
Of course, man. I seen those like YouTube videos of yours, as I told you, Kim sent them to me. And I was like, yeah, I have to get this guy. I was like, sent you the Facebook thing. I was like, no reply. I was like, oh, he's too big of a star. But I'm glad you're
honestly,
here.
I need to get more active on my Facebook. A lot of people put me on Facebook, and I don't know. Facebook doesn't attract me for some reason, but
I know.
luckily we get in contact, and we're here now.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're here, and then I'm glad that I'm gonna be able to pick your brain for a little bit, about slap bass and your approach to slap bass, and all of that. We are gathering some people here, and I would like to ask you if you can hear both of us fine, or if you'd like me to adjust the volume. So please, I would appreciate your feedback. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Hit that
Yes,
subscribe
please
button.
subscribe, guys. Support
Yeah,
us. Subscribe both channels, everybody. That's what it's all
exactly.
about, guys.
So you can see Manny's YouTube in front of his on front of his side of the screen, and so it's gonna be there. So please hit the subscribe on you have like a pretty popular YouTube channel for the bass player, right?
Honestly, bro, I didn't expect that happening. It unfolded itself, and I'm glad it did. I didn't really. I didn't think anything of it at first, and I just thought, I'm a pandemic, I'm bored, and just record myself doing covers. And a
Oh,
couple months later, it's like, I was like, oh shit.
awesome. Well, I hope you're able to make some money, from the YouTube in this crazy during these crazy
Yeah,
times.
it's really.
All right. So I want to hear your story. How did you start? How did you discover slap bass, and how did you decide to play music?
When I first started off in my first high school band, the first I played up guitar, and it was kind of hard. Being in high school, everybody wants to play guitar in the band, so there was no bass players or anything. And my first band was I think it was ska. Then I did one in rockabilly, and that's when I first saw upright bass in a band. I was like, holy, like what is this? But in that band, I was playing guitar at the time. And then I had a friend that he also played the upright bass, but he didn't really pay attention to it. I let him know, like, hey, can I borrow your bass? And he's like, yeah, bro, go for it. Go for your bass, go for it. And since then I fell in love with it. But I still, at that time, I didn't own one. And I luckily one day I stumbled upon a pawn shop, and they had the layaway program, and that's how it all started. Like I bought off, I put down. I think I don't know how much I put down, and then I went to go gig it. And as soon as that gig was done, I went back and picked up my first upright bass. So
That's so cool. How
yeah.
old were you when you started playing bass?
I believe I was 19 already or 20 when I
Oh,
started.
okay.
I've been playing music for like a long time since I was like probably like 13 when I first time picked up a guitar. But
Nice. So guitar was first, then you switched to bass.
yeah, yeah. First I did a guitar, and then I think I was in a ska band. We had like 4 guitar players, and no one played bass, and I was like, someone has to play the bass.
But that
So
was electric, I
it was
assume
electric
so.
bass in that time, yeah.
Okay.
And then from that bass, like after high school ended, that's when I started going to like the conjunto music, the more norteño, and that's when I stumbled upon the trying to figure out how I can play this upright bass in the same scene, because I heard other bands that had Tololoche in the recordings, and I was amazed by it. I was amazed by it even by the psychobilly days. You guys were a big inspiration. The Tiger Army. I listened to like Three Bad Jacks. There was a couple bands out there that that I can remember over here, and you guys were one of them, so it was pretty bad.
That was a cool Billy scene back then. So you were first influenced by rockabilly and psychobilly. That's the reason why you started playing slap.
Yeah, originally that's because of Psychobilly band. I was amazed, like my first band I want to go see was Three Bad Jacks,
Oh,
and
okay.
and I was just like, whoa, like I never thought in my life I would see that kind of fusion, I didn't really know about it, and I was since then it's been like, yeah, like, holy, I gotta do that myself.
Nice, nice. Well, I'm glad you're doing it. And and how did you discover conjunto music and norteño music?
I had some neighbors of mine that in my high school days, like I don't know, at least right here in my area, my scene, people always like our thing was drinking alcohol, so I had neighbors that they listen to conjunto music, and they would tell me like, "Hey, bro, you play guitar?" No, and I was like, "Yeah." And like, "Can you follow this beat on the guitar?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then I go listen to the song. It'd be easy, quick, like 1, 4, 5 chorus music, real simple, like folky. You can say folk music in Spanish. And they were amazed because they could finally sing. Their thing was singing. So I would go play my guitar. They would sing. We'd all drink, and it would be it was amazing. It was a win-win situation for both of us. So as I kind of started leaning towards the conjunto side, the Spanish music, what do you call it? Regional Mexicano.
Uh-huh.
And well, ever since then, like I taught a couple of kids right there. We started a band, and then before you know it, I was getting gigs, and it kind of started leaning more towards that way and away from the rock scene, kind of.
Well, I'm really glad you're doing that, and then in the way you do it. But I usually ask for my guests like to wait for a little bit until they play, but I would like to hear you play, and just so as soon as possible, so that our viewers can actually see what we're talking about when we talk
Okay.
about
Yeah, I'm,
that
I'm angle up the camera a little
approach.
bit, just so it can be a little bit better up on the. Just angle up not too much, but just gonna get a little more
All
closer for
right,
you guys.
I'm gonna solo you out so you could be seen. What do you want to play for us?
I'm gonna play my most personal popular song, something I recorded, and luckily it's made over 1 million views twice already. One on my account, and the second one with the dueto with a very popular artist out right now is Antologia. Luckily he looked over to me, and he really liked my song. He said, "Hey bro, I want to do a a feature with you on your own song." So
Nice.
this song's called No Somos Payasos. I'm gonna do a cappella with myself. So don't go too harsh on the judgment. Here it goes for you guys.
Let's do it.
Ando buscando trabajo, usted diga qué hay que hacer. Así dijo un buen amigo que no tenía que perder. Con unos nervios de acero de trabajo salió al 100. Con una risa burlesca se ríe de su pasado. Compa, dígame qué hacía si no tenía para un taco. Qué esperanza ir a una fiesta muy apenas de arrimado. Pronto logró la confianza porque es hombre no payaso. Cuenta que en su primer jale nomás 50 cruzaron. Antes no había pa' caguamas, hoy toma vino del caro. So like a little quick piece for y'all right there. Right.
That's awesome.
Thank you, thank you.
So you said that how many views that song reached?
On my own channel, like when I first started as like a recently independent artist, it reached to 1 million views, like 1 million plus. And then later on, I was part of a tour, and luckily this company called Rancho Humilde, they've been a big support. I'm not from their record label or anything, but they just provide me with so much work and everything. The artists are amazing. They're the ones that are like, as far as in this area, this region and everything, their numbers are, they're pretty much they're top of the game right now. And
That's
so
that's great.
one of their main artists like that song too, and they're like, hey bro, like let me get on that, And luckily it hit another million with him as well too. So
That's so cool. So is that collaboration is on his channel? It's not on yours, right?
yeah, you can check that out on the Rancho Media channel. I'll send you a link later on so you can check it out.
Oh, okay. Please send me the link and I'll post it. All right, guys. So it's all of this is on Manny Tololoche's channel, which is there.
Yeah,
There,
Manny
somewhere
Tooloche.
there.
Everything will be Manny Tooloche. Facebook, Instagram. I don't know if there's a Twitter account, but I believe there's a Twitter account too. It's everything
But
will be Manny Tooloche. Yeah.
on your Facebook, you use X's instead of O, like for your
Oh
URL,
yeah,
right?
because I guess I guess I had created a personal page already, and it didn't let me allow me to.
Ah, got it.
Yeah, so that's probably the only ones that be the with the, instead of O's and be X's. So thank you for
You
pointing that
know,
out. Sorry about that.
Ryan Gould, another amazing slap bass player, he's helping me out with graphics, and he, posted all of these like so people can really find you very easily. We have some comments from all these people that are watching you. Uh, Puro pinche tololoche from OO. Uh, yeah, Manny, bravo. Ryan Gould that I just mentioned, wash hands. I assume that means clapping. Juan, train, excelente. John Stenzel, very nice. Getting down from Caesar, Octavio. And that's a big bass from Coffin Base 666. And Alexis Martinez, he wrote, it would be interesting to hear something like Psychobilly Norteño. Have you ever thought about that?
I haven't like I mean that would be amazing like to do something like that. But I think in itself, like like you could say, I consider like regional mexicano, even though it's its own thing. I believe it has to do like a lot with country and a lot with those kind of backgrounds. Even though it's Spanish music, but it's kind of almost the same relationship, just in a sense. It's natural to what its state. Country is country because it's from where it's region.
Uh-huh.
And regional mexicano is its own sound because of where it's from. But I think in generally they're really related to each other. So
Huh.
I think to do that mix would be, I don't know how exactly it would work, but I think it's possible. I mean, you've been in bands like Molotov, where
Yeah,
you're grabbing Mexican influences and bringing your what you have to bring
definitely.
to
Yeah.
use them. So I'm pretty sure you guys done something either pretty similar as well, or even better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love playing. I gotta say, I love playing in Mexico, and I love playing with Molotov. Since you mentioned it, it's like, that's something that I really miss during these crazy times. Um, I'll ask you like a couple more times, like to play during the show, but I have like lots of questions for you. So if you wanna like sit down on your chair,
All right, down a
it's
second.
it's
Yeah,
a good time. I don't want you to get tired.
we'll
I mean, whatever you feel like it.
yeah, let's go ahead and just bring it down back.
Yeah. Back to the studio setup.
Back to the
COVID-19 studio setup. How are you holding up during these crazy times?
Luckily, bro. Luckily, right here in this style of music, I'm able to still do like private gigs for small gatherings.
Oh,
And
nice.
like I've said, the company Rancho Mil, not just Rancho Mil, but other companies. Luckily, right now is their crunch time. They're trying to create, and they always call me here and there for recording. So, luckily, I'm able to do recordings. And the private gigs here, even though lately, like after November, the COVID hit really hard, like in my area. So it started hitting people that actually the people we knew. So it's like from like Thanksgiving to about now, it's been really slow. I mean, luckily
Oh, now it's
I
getting
saved a lot of
slower.
money. I saved some money, and I've been hanging out with that. I've been trying to sell Tololoches myself too. Right now, I'm in the works of creating my own line of Tololoches.
Oh,
So
really? Oh, wow.
I'm getting a
You
prototype done. So hopefully soon I'll have the prototype, and if it's good to go, I think I'm gonna try to do like a set of maybe like a series of 25. Start off with.
nice.
Yeah.
That's great. So are you going to do that by yourself, or you're going to do that with some company?
It's a company from Mexico. It's called it's Guitarras Escobedo. They're from Michoacan.
Uh huh.
Michoacan, and this guy does bass for a lot of big Toloche players in Mexico. So I'm really excited to try out his work, see what he's working with, and if you know if everything goes smooth, hopefully we'll have a Manny Tololoche available out for public pretty soon.
That's awesome. So this year?
Hopefully this year, yeah.
Oh, that's great. You mentioned now, like other Tololoche players from Mexico. Is there anybody that you could recommend
Oh
to
yeah, I'm
check
sure.
out?
Yeah. My personal favorite is some guy. His name's Luis Madero. He's from a band
Uh-huh.
called Los Hermanos Madero. I would say I can't say he's the biggest tolochero, but for me, he's one of the best out there that I see. And his technique is really amazing. His style, everything. He's been on various recordings with major artists, and relevant up to date. You know what I mean? And his actual personal band too, Los Hermanos Madero, they get really down too. So I mean, that's somebody I really recommend. La Parca is another one. I believe he's from I think from Mazatlan. They're all from centralized from Estado called Sinaloa. But yeah, I would say La Parca and Luis Madero would be really two good torocheros I look up to. And also,
Please,
go ahead.
I wanted to ask you, like after the show, like please send me some of the links, so I can check them out as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Uh, is one of those guys like those two guys that you mentioned? Is one of them like a featured in any of those like a crazy videos where Mexican bass players like ride the bass and do the
Tell you the truth,
what is
I'm
it?
not really. I'm not really sure, but uh, yeah, that song is really popularized in all of his music up to date. Is that the song's called El Toro Chicoteado? It's a song
Yes.
specifically for like it's like a show song in a sense where you play someone plays a real quick bass solo and they do their little dance and they go. Me personally, I've avoided playing that song because one, I'm a big dude. I don't want to be standing on my bass. I don't want to put my bass in risk. But my hands off to everybody that does do that song because it's you gotta be it's not just playing the song. You gotta be an entertainer with that song.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's a really big thing to do. Like honestly, I respect everybody that does that. Like me, I was like I'm not gonna be able to do that, so I gotta figure out a way how to bench on myself so people can be like not respecting, but in a sense like of so people can still appreciate what I do without you having to dance around and do flips and whatnot. So
Yeah, it seems that like for Tololoche Chiconeado, like I don't know how to pronounce it, but how do you pronounce it?
chicoteado, chi,
Chicoteado. Okay. What does
chicoteado.
it mean?
So pretty much means slap, toroche slap.
Oh, really? Oh,
That's what they
okay.
call it. Chicoteado. That's what they call it when you set the bass in toroche. They'll say chicoteado toroche. Like I mean, slap the bass.
Ah, okay. I did not know that. I'm kind of
Yeah. So
surprised that I
the
did not
toroche
know that.
chicoteado is it's like the slapping the bass, pretty much you could say in a sense.
That's great. Okay, so we have like some questions for you from John Senzel. Do you have some albums, records, downloads available?
Yeah, like I said, you can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Just look at Manny Tololoche. I have 2 albums and 1 single, and hopefully by the end of this month or whatnot, I'll have a couple more singles out, and we're working on a full album. But hopefully before the end of the year. So it's all mostly original music. I do have a couple covers here and there that I put on the albums, but for the most part, it's all original music.
That's great. And Juan Train, he asked you basically that just got answered. Does Tololoche uh, Chicoteado mean slap bass? So it does, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what is the origin of that song?
The
Who wrote it?
origin? No, I don't think I know the origin. But I mean, I know it's been played for years. I mean, it's like it's just it's. Honestly, I don't see it dying out anytime soon. Like, it's just something one of those like it's just I'm gonna say it's like a folky song that has just been it's been out for years and people it comes with it's comes with playing this music and it just I guess like a tradition you say people keep alive. Like there's songs that bands play like like you gotta say that how would I put this like it's like a song you expect already from this region.
And do you know which region the song comes from?
I'm guessing from Mexico. I believe it's from Mexico. I wouldn't
Okay.
say, but
Well,
from what I know, it's
well,
Mexican.
me too. I'm like pretty sure it's from Mexico, but do you know is it like a northern Mexico, like a particular like state?
I'm not even sure. To tell you the truth, because like that is not only used in just Mexican regional music. It's also used like in tropical music. It's used because
Oh,
obviously there's there's a traditional accordion, bajo quinto or sexto, and a upright bass, kind of like where the norteño kind of started, and eventually people start using electric bass. But there's also like huichol groups that use tololoche, some style of guitar. I'm not sure what the guitar is called exactly, but it'll be like a not nylon string. I want to say it's like those cuatros or something like that, like the really small guitars, and they use violins. It's the same concept, but it's a whole different style of music and its own thing. And there's groups that use saxophone, so it's just all over the place with it. Even though it's all contained in Mexico, it's still different styles within itself as Mexico. You have like tropical style groups, huichol groups, you have cumbia groups, you have norteño groups. It varies, and especially nowadays where it's expanded over to where U.S. and Mexico made a kind of like a merge, and right now you're getting millennial kids still having a background from all this regional stuff and integrating it with what they know from English music. So right now it's like it's a really interesting time. But even then, like what was going on, that Toro Chicotel is still alive in this time. So it's pretty cool.
I never seen it play live, but I would love to. I would love to do it. I would love to see when I see someone perform it. Whenever I'm in Mexico, I try to find those like a Tololoche players, but I'm usually in Mexico City or Guadalajara or Monterrey. Um, and it was most of the times it was with Molotov or Drake Bell, or a couple times we went with Tiger Army as well. And my old band, Fish Tank Ensemble, that's my first really memorable tour of Mexico. Um, but I never had the chance to see it live. Only on YouTube basically. But there are some
Yeah.
good recordings. Do you know who is the bass player that made that song popular?
I'm not sure, but like I said, like it just like as far as like when they call them like weepa groups that are they pull up in the restaurants and they like they play by song, and those are the guys that I usually familiar myself like where I seen it first. I don't think I ever even heard until I knew that song before I even heard actual recording of it. And there's a couple of
Oh,
recordings of it out there. And I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't know who to tell you who was the originator of it or anything. But I mean, if I do ever find out, I would let you know for sure.
all right, please do. I want to know everything slap related. you know, got to
Yeah.
be super knowledgeable in Slapsville. Um, Cool. Thanks for sharing that. How did you learn to play bass? Like, did you have like any formal education or like with just by yourself?
When I were in those rock groups, I would just I'll try to try to mimic some artists here and there. Like when I started off, I think playing bass I was in a ska band already, so I'll try to mimic bass lines I heard off other ska bands, and then I think that's how I kind of got interested in slap and bass, because even then in ska it's syncopated where you're playing. The bass plays one part, and when the bass stops playing or the bass is holding a note, the guitar is coming to the opposite. So that little syncopation is really key, and also in the music I play now. So I think I guess I've always been into that. That's kind of like the bass. The bass instrument is real unique. So starting off on the bass first, I think helped out a lot on the upright bass.
I'm I'm sure that I did the opposite way. I mean, not the opposite. I never switched to electric bass, but I started on upright and then I stuck to it. So do you play electric bass as well?
It's been a while. I think probably the last time I actually had a like gig with the bass was probably like over 2 years ago, maybe. Yeah.
And
So
for how long have you been playing upright?
upright, I want to say like 10 years maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. So I kind of started like when I started the conjunto like style music first. I was probably about 18, and I did like bass for about 3 years. And when I bought my first upright, I was playing upright for a cool minute. But then I broke my first upright, so I stopped playing for like 2 years. And I'll get calls left and right, like, "Hey, bro, I got a gig. Can you bring your upright? Can you bring your upright?" I'm like, "I don't got one. I don't got one." And I don't like. I was just like, I was dumb for a couple years, and then one day just kicked up my head, like, "Bro, look at all this work you're missing out because you don't buy one." And
That's
once I
awesome.
bought one, I kept at it again, and like luckily I did because it popularized me, and from what people tell me, I'm even influencing youngsters, so it's like that's like a really big plus for me.
Yes, that's responsibility too. And you grew up in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, I'm from a town called Paramount. It's like probably like 20 minutes away from LA,
Okay.
but it's still within the LA County. But yeah, it's right here in the city right here. There's a bunch of musicians right here, amazing, talented musicians.
Awesome. Yeah, you have to tell me after the show, like where should I go and check out the music, like but like like small places, when
Yeah,
the
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, if you're in the LA area, I would love,
I live in LA.
oh, you live in LA? I thought you were
Yeah,
out of it. Oh, you're from nice. Well, yeah, we'll link up after the show. We'll link up, and if anything,
exactly.
I'll try to get something going for us. Like a little jam session. I'll bring some
Yeah,
different
yeah,
music
I'm
over here.
down.
You
I'm
know what I mean?
I'm I'm available, anytime.
Oh, nice,
That's
nice.
awesome. Um, do you remember what was the name of your first band?
My first, like my high school band, my first ever band was a band called the Scums. It was nothing. Like, we didn't. It was a garage band that lasted like probably like a year maybe. But
Oh, okay.
my first conjunto was a grupo norteño. We were called Los Parientes de Paramount. We lasted about maybe 3 years, and we had a good run, gigs every weekend. Luckily, we were blessed. And then from there, I varied from different bands, and then even from that part, different going from band to band. When I picked up the upright bass, I started getting my foot in with like big artists, recording for them, either live videos or actual studio sessions. And then after like probably like from 2012 to 2015, I was hopping around groups, hopping around everything, and then a band called Legado Siete came out, and that's when I kind of really made that boom because they invited me to do some recording sessions with them as well, and I actually toured with them for a little bit. So it was like a really at that point is when it kind of started getting recognized, like the boom of Manny Tololoche, but that was actually before I was a Manny Tololoche the artist. That was more of a like as when here in LA we have a I don't know what you call them, but I call them like colachas, or pretty much like a client will call me and he'll be like, "Hey, bro, I need music for this day," and I'm like, "All right, for sure, bro." I'll give him a certain price, and I'll just call like three random guys and be like, "All right, bro, let's go do what we gotta do." So like back then you would say I had an accordion player named Tony. I would literally just say Tony accordion. So everybody would say me under Manny and then Tololoche. So like I was still Manny Tololoche in that sense, but it wasn't the artist yet. It was Manny the Tololoche player.
Awesome. So that was your basically nickname before your artist name.
Yeah, and but I mean, because obviously, if you go down, even up to date, all my contacts, like even friends now, like they're they're bigger than what they are now. Like they'll still say their name, and their instrument they play. Just so so if I needed
So
to quick,
their last names are
their
their
instrument.
instruments. Yeah, cool. Yeah, and actually, I wanted to ask you about your solo career, and when did you decided to start performing solo?
Actually, it was not that long ago. It was I think we started the project like in 2019, late 2018, maybe early 2019. It was honestly because my Bajo Sexteto player from the group, he's one of those guys that would call up here and there, like to whenever we get those gigs where we have to like out make up a band, and I just got tired of dealing with like because there's always good money in those bands. You just go do what you gotta do, get paid, and you're good to go. But I got tired of like dealing with like irresponsible musicians or even myself. Like just like sometimes you pull up and you don't know who you're gonna show up with, and my friend that plays ball sexo with me, his name's Menyo, Manuel Ayala. We call him Menyo. he told me like he kept telling me like, hey bro, like I don't know what it is about you, but people look at you different, bro, and you gotta kind of grasp that somehow and go with it. And that song I started to show off with today, No Somos Payasos, it was written by another friend. The song's written by another friend of mine, but it's an original piece, and I had came up with that musical beat already. And we put those two together, and I recorded an album, and people liked it. They really liked it, and they liked it so much that the same guys I'm telling you guys, the Leal City guys, they were part of a tour called the SMO tour, and they reached in with their big heads. The main guy, their name is Jimmy Humilde. I met with Jimmy Humilde and Ramon, and we're gonna do the 2019 tour. So be doing the tour. Like I was already part of the tour in the sense of using. I would play Tololoche with most of the groups on that in that band in that tour. Each band had like one song or two songs that I would play Tololoche on. So they wanted to bring the Tololoche aspect to the live shows. And then the Jimmy found out that I was a singer too. He was like, "Well, bro, you sing too?" He's like, "Well, come open the show for me, and then help me finish the show with your Tololoche being with other bands." So it was really. That's how it kind of came about, and it's where it stands right now.
Well, that's great. It takes some courage, and then lots of things have to kind of lined up in order to do.
Yeah,
Uh,
and honestly, because I've always I've always been blessed to be around people. Like when I started doing recordings, I was ready to record for people that were already in the, you can say they're already in their top game, and I was kind of like, at first when I wasn't in the balance of like leaving different groups and just doing all kinds of stuff, like I was kind of like discouraged by the Hollywood side of it. I was like, oh, I don't want to be famous. I don't want to go through this BS. I don't want to do. I just want to do what I got to do, get paid, and go back home and sleep. But even then, like I guess I got tired of that as well. And I'm not gonna say it's easy to try and do what I'm doing, but like at the end of the day, I feel good because it's for myself. I'm working for myself, and that at the end of the day, I think that's what counts the most. Like the freedom of trying to be something bigger than trying to make what I have, what I don't have, and what I can do as big as I can. But at the same time, have my own freedom of doing it. You know what I mean? So it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you're doing it. Um, and you have that saying, sup, right?
Oh
When did
yeah,
you
that's my
start doing that?
catchphrase. Sup?
Yeah. Okay. So we got like quite a few people actually posting that. So I assume that these guys are your fans. We have Gabriel Hernandez and EDP Junior and Blanca Mendoza, and they know your catchphrase.
Yeah, I mean that's just something that we me and a couple of friends already had. One of my friends George, I was just thinking like he would always say it in a sarcastic way, like say me and my friend were talking about something, and I would say the word, I would say George. I would say I wasn't even talking about it, but he heard George, he would come out and be like, "Sup?" Like saying like trying to eavesdrop in on what we're saying. Like that was his thing. And ever since then, like we kind of it was like a word you can say around all our friends. And I didn't have a catchphrase, so the one day I was messing around at I think a sound check or something, and I said "Sup," and like everybody's like, "Hey, bro, man, that's pretty." It's one, it's simple, and two, it's catchy. Cause like I don't know if it's a thing. It probably is. Like I'm pretty sure there's catchphrases with other bands too, but in this in the regional Mexican, everybody has their own like you can say catchphrase. So in the middle of your song, while the music's playing, they'll say "grupo," whatever group you're from, and then your catchphrase. So in my sense, my buddy says "MANNY TOLOLOCHE," and so he says "MANNY TOLOLOCHE," I'll say "Sup," and people love it, and I just gotta go with it. You know what I mean?
Do you have a merch for that? With
Actually, I do.
sub?
Yeah, send me your stuff. I'll send you a couple. I'll send you a hat, shirt, your shirt size, all that stuff. Let me know.
Sure. Awesome. So for people that are interested to actually buy that, like where do you have a website that we can check out?
MannyTololoche.com. Yeah, you can MannyTololoche.com.
MannyTololoche.com.
Again, like I said, you can find as you type in Manny Tololoche on I'm pretty sure almost any kind of search platform, and you'll find something about me.
So you became the Tololoche guy.
I mean, so far, bro, like, cause there's so many youngsters really talented, and I mean, I'm not young no more. I'm already 32 years old. I know it's probably still young, but like right now, there's kids that are 16, 15, and they have all the time and all the useness of learning right now. So I mean, and they have things like YouTube now. So like, there's kids really out there. So hopefully I can last a couple years more. But I already feel there's gonna be somebody out there that's gonna come and take whatever I'm doing and make it even better. But I'm glad for that too, because things have to get innovative. Things have to keep growing. I'm gonna try to keep growing myself as far as I can, but you know what I mean. It is what it is, and hopefully I'm able to leave my footstep in this growing business and growing genre. Hopefully, even popularity the Tololoche instrument into more common use. You know what
I mean? Well, I'm sure you have like you're gonna grow a lot. I think this is just the beginning for you. You basically just started your solo thing 2 years ago,
Yeah.
so it's pretty amazing how far you got, and then with Tololoche especially. So I'm so we got like some new comments. Andy joined us. Man, I'm so happy to see this live. We're also happy to see you live.
Yeah.
And
shout out to everybody that's live. Everybody, thank you guys for the support, and keep slapping the bass.
yeah, keep slapping. Redback Lounge, hello at all. The Bashery, Georgia needs a catchphrase. Well, what about what's happening? What's happening is
Yeah,
my
what's happening?
catchphrase. I've been starting my, every show with what's happening. So, I think that's it. So, and also, Le Bashery, I have two DJs. There's no G in my first name, just so you know. So, oh, he wrote what's happening in the meantime. So, well, So yeah, I always thought it's kind of interesting, like to have your own like a catchphrase, kind of like a little bit like a superhero, and a little bit like a
yeah.
kind of
I don't
old
know if you checked
school.
out my logo too. Is my little daughter drew it. It's like a little cartoon version of me, and
Oh,
like
awesome.
that kind of caught on too. So yeah, I'll before the end of the show, send me your address, and I'll go take you some merch.
Yeah, thanks.
I have hats, shirts, stickers, and like I said,
Oh,
like
cool, man.
because
I'm glad
people
your
like
daughter
it.
drew it.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I honestly, at first, when I first saw it, I was kind of tripping out. I was like, but it's very cartoony, but it depicts me so like I'll show you, and you'll probably like get a giggle out of it.
do you have it? Do you have it somewhere over there handy so you can show it to us?
Give me a second. Let me grab a hat from the garage. You can check it out.
Oh, okay. So let's do
Second.
that. All right, so we're waiting for Manny to show us here's sup merchandise that you can get at mannitololoche.com. And for all of you that joined us, and there's quite a few of you, first of all, why are you not here on time? And I'm joking, but like make sure to subscribe. It really means a lot to me. If you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and ring the bell so you can
Sorry
actually
about
get
that.
notifications.
So this is
All right.
this is the
So
sticker I have available.
all right.
So maybe it's too much lighting. I'm not sure. Let me try to bring it down so you guys can see a little better. There you go.
Oh, cool. All righty.
That's it. That's my little drawing. So she made me chubby. So I it's I think it's spot on. But people really love the design. They love the catchphrase. Luckily, there's followers and supporters.
What would you say was the highlight of your solo career so far?
So far, I think I'd say it was the SMO tour and that the feature I told you about with my good buddy Nathan. Because right now he's an artist he's breaking like charts and numbers and all kinds of stuff. So for him to actually like look that pretty much give me the chance to work with him was like something pretty cool.
Was that a reason why your YouTube channel kind of blew up?
I actually had a YouTube channel going before the feature came out and everything.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna say it didn't help. I'm pretty sure it helped a lot.
Yeah. So what was the first video that kind of became viral?
The first video I'd say was when I first started working with the company at Media. It was one song called Cosas de la Clica, which involved my friends from Legado Zeta, the guys that first gave me the hand to help out with the whole company. And another group called Herencia Patrones. There's some guys from Utah City, really talented guys. They're there. Their music is like I would say the birthing of kids listening to trap rap music and
Mhm.
mixing their regional mexicano backgrounds together, and they're really badass band. And some other guys called Fuerza Regida. They're really very popular band in the same team. So them three guys made a song together called Costa. Oh, actually, it's Eden's Patron song, but the other two groups got featured in it, and they luckily they included me on the upright bass for that song. And as soon as that video came out, like you go down to the comments, that's how you see el gordito del toloche atrás, el gordito, el gordito. That means the fat dude in the background, dude. Like, oh my god, look at the fat dude, look how bad he is. Like, or they'll say this song is badass because the fat dude in the background. You know, like everybody, a lot of comments was directed towards me, and I was like, oh shit, like I was kind of tripping out, like what the hell? I didn't think so much. I didn't think anything. I was like, you know, like cool. I'm gonna go do my gig and get paid, you know. But it turned out to be something even bigger than that.
That's great. So since you are a composer, songwriter, you write lyrics as well.
My first two albums, I didn't write nothing, but right now I have my first single that went out. It's called the Cinco a Cinco. That one I actually wrote myself, and I have a new single coming out. I don't have a date for it yet, but it should be within a couple. I would say less than 2 weeks. It's a new correo called El Compape that I just wrote. I'm gonna do that one with some of my good friends from Grupo Grado.
Hmm.
And right now, this new album that I'm working on, I'm working on a couple of new songs myself. So this is my first time to be able to produce and actually write my own songs. But back then, it
Oh,
was what people either it would be a full on cover or songs that good friends of mine wrote, and I helped mold the either the sound or everything.
okay. So I thought that you actually wrote all these songs in your first two albums. So you basically arranged them.
Yeah. First, luckily, I have people that just they write music, and I was able to take what they write and kind of interpret it. You know how I did with the help of my with their writing and the help of my bandmates, and luckily we were able to mold up something, and it sounds unique, and people really like I said, there's big support on it.
And you put your own stamp on it. So
Yeah,
it
that's it.
sounds like Manny Tololoche.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Do you always slap?
always slap. Yeah, it
Always
just
slap. All right.
always slap. It's already part of me. Yeah, I can. I mean, not that I can't not slap, but I guess just the music I'm playing right now, it just I guess like I'm telling you, a lot of right now music that's in this region and this what's going on around this time. Like the drums, like I said, the drums are fading away, but for sure right now the drums aren't really a big part of what's going on. There's a lot of these groups that they use either two guitars or like the melodies is like either two guitar and a bass or two guitars and a tuba. And I'm pretty
Uh-huh.
sure there's groups out there with two guitars and Toloche too. But what I did for my music was I used Toloche and the Bajo Quinto because the Bajo Quinto is more of a norteño sound. Over
Uh-huh.
it's norteño and then there's sierreño meaning the guitars.
Uh-huh.
So what I do is I use my bass music is the Toloche and the Bajo Quinto to give it a norteño sound, but my melody is guitar. So it's like a mix of sierreño and norteño, and also on top of that, the mix of just my background. So it's like a really interesting sound, I believe.
That's great. And Tololoche, like an instrument, is it more present in northern part of Mexico, or like it's all over?
I believe it's all over. Honestly,
All
like
over.
the only thing is that I don't think it's not like there's grupos that have Toroche players and whatnot, but like most bands these days don't have Toroche players. Like they'll have albums where they have there's the band and they have a album with Toroche or they have a song with Toroche, but that's not really it's not really out there to be an actual band already with Toroche. So I think and then me being the front man of my own group, of my the project Manny Toloche is like really is what's kind of like stamp of it.
Are you aware of any other Tololoche players that are frontmen that are leading their own band?
Yeah, I believe there was a guy before me named El Josi. He's I believe he's from up North California, and
Oh,
he's a good Toro cello player too. But I guess I mean I'm pretty sure he's still doing his thing. But like I was blessed to be able to work with the guys from Rancho Humilde, and at the time when I was working with them, they're I mean even today they're still at the top of their game. So like I think I just had the benefit of knowing the people I knew and working with the people I work with. That kind of helped me blow up.
that's amazing. I had never had a chance to play like real, conjunto stuff, música norteña. But I did play with one Mexican band or Tex-Mex band where I had a chance to incorporate that style a little bit. I recorded with Intocable. Do you know Intocable?
I did. I saw that picture you did. Right? Yeah, no, they're
Oh
really
yeah,
cool. Yeah, see, and Intocable, no, that's amazing, bro. That's badass.
yeah. They were fun guys. And then it was last year or year before that, like kind of recent. I met him in here in LA. Um, I want to hear about your writing process. Like, how do you write your songs? Do you write, bass parts or a melody or lyrics? What's the process here?
Very first time I wrote a song, the melody came to me. I believe I was on the couch or anything, but the thing was, I went to the shower, and in the shower, I had a melody in my head. It wouldn't, like, pretty much, it wouldn't leave my head. I was in the shower, straightening my hair, and I'll try to. I don't know, even when I'm in the shower, I think a lot, and you're the famous, you talking to yourself in a sense, and I don't know, that day that beat kept circling my head, and I was like, you know what, I gotta take this thing out because it's bugging me. So I grabbed my ball quinto, and I start jamming, and what I hear in my head, I bring it out. I turn to reality pretty much. And in this sense, I had never written in my life. I had never written a song. I never even thought about writing a song. And then so I started jotting down words, and one verse came out, and I showed my wife, and I was like, and she's like, "Hey, that doesn't sound that bad." And then it was already kind of late that day. It was probably like around 10 o'clock. And she's like, "Hey, I'm you want to get some tacos?" And I was like, I kind of felt like telling her, like, "Hey, like, don't bug me, like, I'm kind of working on something." But we still went to go get tacos, and even then she was talking to me. I was like, "Hey, you know what? Like, be quiet. Like, I need to. There's something in my head I need to get out." And then that night I probably finished like about like 3, 4 in the morning, I believe it was, and the song came out within a couple hours. And that's my first single. It's out right now. It's called the Cinco a Cinco. It talks about it's a song that talks about someone who's clocking out at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, parties up all night, and goes back into work at 5 in the morning. So, but that was my first writing process. My second corrido that I wrote was for it's a personal corrido, like for my friend. His name, we call him Copape. I've been knowing him since my first tour with the Legado, and he was a big fan of Legado at the time. Pretty sure he still is. And he's a man that every time we've been in the area, he'll show mad love. He'll take me to go eat. He'll just hang around. It was an overall good dude. So I just made him a like, in this scene, people have things called corridos where you can talk about a certain person or certain lifestyles or just certain topics. And so I made him a corrido, and that's the second single I'm gonna release. And then I have more things coming in the album. That's how I came about my first one for him. I just honestly, he's a person I admire and I esteem a lot, and I just figured I'd write him a song, and it looks like people are liking it. The previews that I released, they're like, "Bro, you gotta let the song out now, 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 now." So I mean, so far I have two under my belt, and I have like four more that are in the way of being written. But that's how I go about my process. My first time was making the melody, and then writing the words out. But right now, like, I have three songs that I'm working on that they're not complete, and just because I don't know what to write. I don't know what's next yet. It hasn't came to me so easy, but that's so
Just
far in my
make sure
process.
to slap them. As long as you slap them,
Yeah,
it's
I know
gonna
they're
be good.
slapping them. Yeah. Well, this next single gonna come out is gonna be a mix of a norteño group and my group together. So it's like, I think it's a really good fusion. Like, it's gonna be hopefully pretty badass.
Awesome. Do you know when you're gonna start releasing new music?
I don't have actual date, but that single it was already recorded. We're just working on the album artwork to release on Spotify, and once we get the date, it'll be up for sure.
Oh, okay, awesome.
I
So
think
that's
within
the one that you mentioned that it might be out in a few weeks, right?
yeah, those ones might be a few weeks. But as far as the album goes, I think we're getting pretty close to before for sure I can say before the end of the year we'll have the album done. But I'll try to be more specific on a date, but I'll post that once it's ready to go.
All right, that's gonna be your third solo album.
My third solo album, yeah.
Okay. Are you gonna do a vinyl?
I haven't done no physical copies on anything yet, so I don't know.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay.
I haven't tried. I mean, honestly, because we're in the digital age, but I have seen that many artists do vinyl. So I mean, that'd be cool. That would be cool to see my art. You know, like a vinyl of mine.
You know, like we have people asking you to play more. So do, let's do another one, huh?
Let's play more. All right.
All right.
Let's set up my camera again. So this is actually my very first song that I released out. It's composed by my friend Ronnie Chinese. It's called Mi Vida en un Hilo. So this is the first song that I released ever as MANNY TOLOLOCHE. There's no music for it, but I'm gonna do it again a cappella for you guys. Mi vida prende de un hilo, aunque la cuerda esté floja. Mi suerte yo me la juego, no importa qué grande riesgo. A la gente que yo quiero, con mi vida la defiendo. Me buscan por todos lados, mis pasos sigue el gobierno. Quieren verme prisionero, en la mira yo los tengo. Donde buscan yo me encuentro, cuando ellos van yo ya vengo. Me achacan varios delitos, cárcel por vida me dieron. Los cargos yo no los niego, y una cosa les confieso, primero muerto que preso, las rejas palio no se hicieron. A little piece for Rent.
Beautiful. Torn Ham
I think
is
my volume went
asking
down.
you,
Hold on.
are you playing an Engelhart?
Give me a quick second. I think my volume went down.
Okay.
I hate these stands. I can't hear you guys.
You cannot hear me?
No, damn it. What did I do?
You probably muted somehow. While I'm talking.
I'm not sure what I did.
Check. All right. Do you hear me now? No? All right. I'm going to be talking while Manny is trying to figure out his sound. If you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the like button, and also to do to ring the bell. And we have a few new comments. Hey Betty, welcome to the Slapstream. Welcome to Slapsville. And hey Alejandro, getting off like always, compa Manny. You know, I'm glad I have a chance actually to talk and hear Manny, you know, slapping his bass. And I'm gonna be asking you to do that quite a few times during the show, as long as he can figure out his sound situation. Okay, so he just got out, and hopefully he's going to be back. Let's see. You can still hear me, right? Please let me know.
I think we're back on sound wise. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I do.
I don't know what happened there. Sorry, guys.
You know, we have the ultimate fix, which is restart. You know, like you fix everything with the, you know, restarting the, you know, application.
We guys heard that it'll be playing at least, right?
Yeah. We heard you.
Okay.
You playing the song. So, You have a question from Tornham. Are you playing an Engelhardt?
Yes, it's the Engelhardt Swingmaster. I believe that that's the model.
And I wanted to ask you actually about that. I thought that actually Tololoche bases are a little smaller than regular upright bases.
Yeah, they are. I believe they come. Most of them come in half size, like half size
Uh-huh.
style. And I think even the build itself is like a little. There's like a small variation to it, but I think in the sense that's what's kind of made me stand out a little more as well too, like my sound and everything. Because I go by standard tuning. A lot of Toloche players use the high C tuning where their high string would be a C,
Oh,
D, G, A. That's most common players I know. Like the guy I was telling you about, Luis Madero, they use that tuning. A lot of Mexican players use that tuning. Even a lot of people here on the U.S. side use that.
sorry, just a question. Have you said CGDA or CDGA?
C, G, D, A. Sorry.
Okay, okay. I thought I heard you saying something else, and I was
I
like,
probably
oh,
did say it wrong, yeah. But I use regular standard tuning, G, D, A, E. That's how I play. So
oh,
I
okay.
think
So
even
you're
then, that's
playing
how
standard bass tuning.
yeah, center bass tuning. So I think that's what kind of made me sound a lot different from other players as well too. Using the actual 3/4 size bass and then using standard tuning, but trying to influence what I already know into what I'm playing now.
That's cool. I never thought about it. I never realized that it's actually a different tuning on Tololoches. And is Tololoche just a translation for the upright bass, or that's uh actual different instrument?
Well, I also heard of them also like for orchestra players like from Mexico they call it contrabass, you know.
Yeah.
And I know as far as English too, there's all kinds of names for it too: double bass, stand up bass, counter bass. So I'm not sure if it's actually like a actual like just another term for stand up bass in Spanish, but for most part, everybody I ran into that plays Tololoche or upright, they refer to it as Tololoche. So I'm guessing it's
Oh,
the
okay.
same. But yeah, I do notice a lot of players usually play a smaller and like a half size or even like a 1/4.
And it's usually even made a little differently. It's like a flat back, and
Yeah,
it's
there's different. It's like kind of like variants to it too. Yeah, I've noticed that.
whenever I go like to San Pedro fish market, I always try to catch a Mexican band over there, and then sometimes I ask them, "Hey, can I play your bass? Can I play your Tololoche?" It's always fun.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. um, but now I'm waiting for the real deal. I'm waiting for some secret parties, for you to invite me so I can hear the
Yeah, yeah,
real
bro.
thing.
Like I said, when I have another gig, I'll for sure invite you. But I'll try to see if I can gather my musicians because it's not just the Dolce. There's amazing accordion players, amazing guitar players. I'm pretty sure even you within your realm, amazing players yourself. So I mean, we
Yeah.
can like bring in more musicians from different regions and whatnot and different
Yes.
backgrounds. That'd be amazing.
Yes. Oh, well, can't wait. Yesterday I went to a jam session, with a few friends of mine, and we played Balkan music and Eastern European, and we had a blast. And I love jamming and putting like myself in a different situations, different music styles, and that'll be cool. I can't wait. Actually, you really got me excited about this. Like a secret conjunto parties. um, do you ever teach?
I've had like a couple of friends that I've showed a couple of things to them, but I don't. A lot of people hit me up like to do like YouTube videos and whatnot, and I'm kind of iffy about it because I don't know. One, I need like a better production. I'm about to like hire for like a good production team. I don't want to put like whatever out there because like I tell you, my YouTube thing wasn't like a. I was just bored during the pandemic, and I just figured I have a camera. I want to practice using GarageBand, and it just luckily that worked out. But like I don't want to, go into this teaching somebody with the same, like that. I want if I'm gonna teach somebody, I want to like make like plan it out pretty good and whatnot. I've been thinking about doing as funny as it sounds. I've been thinking about doing an OnlyFans page, like just dedicated to Toloche lessons.
Oh, cool.
So I gotta see. If I
One,
do it, I'll be putting it up. I'll post it up. But
yeah,
as of
yeah.
the moment,
If you do that, like send me the link for that, and I'm gonna post it in the description of this video. So
you know,
basically, people, if you're watching this, sometime in the future, check
Yeah,
out the
there might be
description.
OnlyFans. Yeah, don't think I'm not be showing my body or anything. I'll be showing the Loche.
Yeah. you're gonna be you're gonna be the only Tololoche dude on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but if people wanna learn from you, are you willing to teach? Like, should they get in touch with you, or I
That's
try
I
to
mean,
promote.
I'm always open about things all the time. Like if people want me to sit there and like send them videos with me, like what exactly I do. I mean, I don't sometimes I don't have time for that, honestly. But what I do is like people ask me like what kind of strings I use, my pickups, what are they, like common questions people that are what you're either they don't know about or they want to get into learning. They ask me, and most for the most part, I'll reply most of the time. Like so, you send me a personal message on. Yeah, Facebook might take longer. I'm not really like I'm telling you. It take you forever to reach me after that. But even then, like Facebook's not really. I don't really go on it as much. I need to make that a priority to go back onto Facebook because there's a lot of people on Facebook still. It's just I guess Instagram is my go-to all the time. But
Yeah, yeah.
for the most part, people want to send me messages. No, they're more than welcome to, and I'll try
And
to get to them.
you can always point them out, like to this video, because we're gonna be talking about all your gear and all
Yeah, I
your
mean,
strings and
yeah,
all of that.
exactly what I was thinking about myself. Yeah, I'm pretty sure people are gonna want to come back and check this video out as well.
Exactly. Um, so do you consider yourself basically a conjunto player, or
I can't say conjunto because honestly I don't up to date I still don't I haven't played with actual you could say like a traditional conjunto band right now is we're in a time where music even as even though we're still all within a branch of regional mexicano, like I said, there's always these new kids that are coming out with music that it's a fusion of what their LA background or their California background or wherever, pretty much the United States background, growing up from 90s to 2000s, and having their background from their parents who actually listen to actual real conjunto music, and pretty much bringing what they know with their parents stuff and what they like and fusing together. So right now they're considering it like a regional urbano, like a urban, regional music. So to say that I play conjunto, I would never. I don't think I can say I play conjunto, but luckily it's relevant to what's going on right now. I believe it's just something that even like I said myself, like me growing up in the '90s, knowing about rap music, knowing about rock music, knowing about psychobilly, and then mixing it with the what everything, well, what was going on at the time with regional music.
so you don't have like any particular name for the style of music that you play?
Like I said, right now everybody's kind of considering regional urbano, it's urban.
Aha, okay.
Because it's like even then it's like it's because it's hard to compare like traditional music like Jose Alfredo Jimenez, Vicente Fernandez, like Intocable. I couldn't say that my music is like Intocable's music because it's really different. It
Yeah,
really
yeah.
is. Even though it's still regional mexicano, even though it's under all the Mexican music branch, it's still even within itself it's like way different.
Absolutely. Um, let's get back to bass. Like, who would you say is your biggest influence, or you can name a few of your biggest bass or slap bass
Like
influences?
originally, where slap bass originally came from. I gotta say it's probably from you guys, like from listening to Tiger Army, listening out to like being in high school, just tripping out on like psychobilly in itself, and I was like, whoa, and
Oh, okay.
seeing you guys' speed and mixing what I like, rock music, and then you say you still have the
And as far as Mexican and conjunto. Oh, I lost you. I lost your sound. Can you hear me still? I cannot hear you. Let me see. If can you restart your app again? You don't hear me? No. Let's do the same thing. Bummer. Well, Manny is still here. Hopefully, he's going to be back in a minute. Something happened with the sound. Hopefully, it's not too bad.
I'm back. Sorry, I think I lost sound.
You're back.
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I don't know it either. Um, Juan worried about you. Manny, I can't hear you anymore. but
Yeah.
now we can hear you, so you're
Okay.
back.
Yeah, sorry. I
Um,
don't know what's going on there.
so you started talking about your influences. So if you don't mind repeating that, because we haven't heard that.
Okay.
But
Or,
you're all your influences. Besides psychobilly. Like uh,
there's there's one group called Los Canelos de Durango. They're a norteño corrido band, very popular, very looked up to in the scene. And that's the first time. I'm pretty sure there was other grupos that had Toloche in their recordings or whatever, but that's the first group I heard with. They had a CD called Los Canelos Durango en vivo, it means Canelos Durango live, with Con Toloche Volume 1 and 2. It was two CDs, and I was just so amazed by like how three instruments could sound so beautiful and whatnot. And if I'm not mistaken, there's the guy who recorded that Toloche for those two albums is this guy. I don't know where he's from originally. Like I'm pretty sure it was some part of Mexico, but I don't know what part of Mexico. But he's a really LA local. His name's La Cotorrita, and this dude has been playing Toloche, from what I understand, since he was like out the womb. And he's really he's a bass player in LA up to date, still playing bass. Really good. He has a couple. He plays Toloche Cadillac. He has videos of him playing it. This guy can play with his elbow, with his teeth. Like I'm telling you, he's something else. But he's a really good bass player. That's somebody I would say, like for me, like in LA, he's the one that got me starting to play Toloche for sure. Yeah, when I started hearing like more music and more art, like recordings and stuff, I started figuring out like, oh, this guy. That's when I ran to that guy Luis Madero, because he's recorded for a bunch of Mexican artists that have songs like very like I could say like luckily you could say he's like a Mexican Manny Tololoche in a sense, where he's been on various recordings on that side. But like I can tell you up to date now, there's more players out there. There's La Parica, I believe there's El Rey de Toloche. I forgot his name, but he's some big dude. Plays a little Toloche, but he can slap the bass really good too. And but for the main part here, like to get it started, my main inspiration I think was to say La Cotorrita from here in LA. And like I said, he has videos. I believe he's the one who recorded those CDs, and he's a really good bass player too.
Huh. I have to check him out, and then maybe invite him to the slap stream as well.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting. Apart from not just being a great bass player, he has real conversation. The only thing I think he only speaks Spanish, but I mean, I'm pretty sure we figure out a way to make that happen anyway.
Oh, okay. So he doesn't speak English.
I don't believe he speaks English, but he's I mean his bass can talk for him. You know what
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
I mean?
We'll make it happen. I might have to find a translator. So, um, cool, great. So you mentioned like all of these guys that are basically play nowadays. From La Parca, Rey de Tololoche. How do you say Quaterita?
The what?
What is the
Oh,
guy's name that
La
you mentioned last?
Cotorrita. It's like a parrot. They call it like I guess the translation is parrot. Like they call him the La Cotorrita.
Ah, okay. All right. So I have to check all of them out. I'm super
Yeah, he
excited to
actually
hear
has
from.
the guy La Cotorrita actually has videos of him playing the Toro Chicoteado. So
Okay.
like I was saying, he's been doing it for years. So, I mean, he can do the show he plays with his elbow, he plays with his teeth. Like he's like he's a real interesting guy. He's apart from actually being a bass player, he's a good entertainer as well.
And he performs in Los Angeles. Is that what you said?
He plays, he plays well. He's like me. He's like a freelance bass player. He plays many instruments, but I believe right now he's playing with some guy from LA local named Junior Barraza. He's a LA local, really big in the underground. Like I don't think he has plans of going mainstream, but he's and then like in the LA and underground music, he's really well known.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well, I'll definitely look him up. Is it hard to find out about all those gigs?
yeah.
Is it hard to find about those gigs?
Like find out about the underground gigs.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're not a band that goes to like clubs or anything. I mean, they were doing like, he'll do club nights. But when they do the club nights, they'll play mostly with the full group, and he'll actually play the electric bass or the bajo quinto.
Ah, okay,
But to
okay.
catch him on like playing upright bass will be like usually like a private gig. And even
Ah,
then,
okay.
like that same guy Junior Barraza, he's invited me myself to play upright bass sometimes when Cotorrita couldn't go. So but like even then, there's just I've known him because of those albums and just seeing him around with different groups in LA.
Um, you're talking about all these gigs that you were getting, and then now you play mostly solo. Do you have any advice, like for younger folks that are interested to go on your path, and then how what would be your recommendation, how to get the gig?
How to get the gig? I mean, at the end of the day, like a good example. Rest in peace. I used to have a luthier here in Norwalk, California. His name was D, an amazing guitar player. He passed away already, but he's always one as he was I believe he told me he was like a session musician for like a lot of TV companies. I did believe he did like recordings for Adult Swim. He did recordings for cartoon shows, and like he would go like weekly just to go do different recordings. And he always told me like a recommendation as a musician. He heard me before playing as a slap bass. So he told me that, hey brother, like keep doing what you're doing, and like never try to do the most. Like you're always gonna have work as a slap player, but like you always gotta have control. Like like don't like he told me that he'll go to auditions where there'll be guys pulling up and he's shredding like shredding guitar like whatever. He's like, and those guys are badass, but you're never gonna get gigs unless you know how to control yourself. So I mean that's I know I slap a lot, but that's just my style of music. But when I go actually do recording sessions, I gotta refrain from doing what I feel and follow what's going on. So like I would say, if you're trying to get the gig, one, be original, two, but just don't overdo it in a sense. You have to kind of humble yourself because right now there's a lot of musicians that like I'm telling you, there's a lot of youngsters that they slap way faster than me. They do a couple, but like at the end of the day, people still luckily still look towards me right now. But I think it's for the same sense that I control myself. I just slap when I need to slap instead of slap. For my music, I slap all day because of my style. But I have to learn how to adapt. So it's like I have the opportunity to record with so many different artists. I gotta try to focus on what that artist sound is, what that artist sound is, and like figure that out. So if kids want to take my path, like I would say is learn as much as you can, but learn how to control yourself when you're in your environment, and that's always gonna get you the gig over like just being a really good bass player. I think.
That's a good advice. And do you still play with other people, or you play
Currently I do,
mostly
yeah. Like
yourself?
I told you yesterday, I was blessed. One of my friends from a Grupo Agrado, the feature I'm gonna do with my friend, the band I was telling you about, the new single.
Uh-huh.
They're still I know like all of us, but at the end of the day, we're still musicians and people still call us for private events. Yesterday we played a gig. It was a pretty long gig, and luckily there's still people trying to party out there. So whether people want to
Nice.
party or people want entertainment. So
That's awesome. What would you say? How did you develop your own style of bass playing?
honestly, I think it was the fact that people, well, one, the music in this region, in my realm of music, was changing already itself. Where it was like for a cool standard, while it was like a certain, like as you can say, it was like it's also cause of the internet. Like back then, people would like to go to even an average nightclub here in LA. You wanted to be a certain type of talented musician. You couldn't just be like whatever group playing out there. I think, and that what sets me apart is that everybody was playing Toloche. They would stop the bass and whatnot, but they would really they would really respect the aspect of okay, I'm here to play the upright bass and just play the upright bass and make everything sound nice and solid. And I guess when I started playing, so I was already hearing like things from rockabilly and psychobilly. I would take concepts that I learned from that music and then just apply them to playing groups right here. And I think that's what really developed. That really developed my sound, you could say, because people always tell me like, "Oh, bro, you play rockabilly, or you doing this with rockabilly, or you play psychobilly," and yeah, like I have an idea of what it is. So knowing what I already know from the regular bass, playing with different conjunto bands, I just applied my bass lines and learning how to infuse slap with that, and that's what made kind of I think makes my unique sound learning how to play the what I already knew and infusing it with what's out now. So when I came out playing upright bass with different bands, they would be shocked because they had never heard people never heard that, especially with this music. So like one, they didn't hear it, they never heard it, and two, they heard it like they heard it happening in front of their face, and just like it kind of like really it really boggled their mind. Like I'm telling you, people would just expect that when people would play Todo Chicoteado because that would be just slap that song. So I figured my thing was like, well, why not slap all the songs?
I like that thing. I like that approach. Do you have a special way to create your bass lines?
A special way I wouldn't say like as far as bass lines, I don't think I have like special bass line. What I do think I have is a special, like I said, the special sound, and what I do subconsciously, I have like a little. I have a slap. I have a slap in, like, I slap in between not in between a slap, but like in between, like in a bass line, where like a 3/4 beat, would be like mine goes ka ah ka ah ka ah. So it gives like a kind of like a. One guy pointed out to me one day at a gig when I was playing. He goes, "Hey, bro," he goes, "I don't know what you're doing, that, but it sounded like those drums, but there was no drums." So he was really like that kind of triggered in my mind one day, and I was like, "Oh, dang." So then I noticed that when I play, I do like a little, just like a little tapping in between. That kind of gives it like a, I guess you could say like a flow, like a beat. It makes you like, like when they say when you feel the music and you're just like bobbing your head to the music. Like I guess that me playing the way I play, it sounds like bass and drums at the same time, even though there's no drums.
Do you mind like showing me a little bit? I
Yeah,
noticed that you play, in 3/4 a lot, and then it's an interesting groove for slap and not very common.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and
Like
I
usually,
would
yeah.
love to see how you're doing it. Let's do a little slap bass lesson. So you guys, all the viewers, grab your basses now. Now it's
Yeah,
your chance
you
to
want to
learn
learn it, now
some.
it's time to grab your bass.
Yeah, learn some Tololoche lines from MANNY TOLOLOCHE.
So this is
All
like
right.
I'm gonna go off based off of a song called "Sigo Chambeando." It was one of the first songs that I believe like right now to now I think it already has like almost 200 million views. Very popular song from that company Rancho Humilde. It's from my good friends Fuerza Regia. Yeah, I'm pretty sure most people know them. It's a song that kind of think one of the songs that got me recognized as well as a upright player. And the thing I'm talking about, I'm gonna kind of just hum the melody, and then so like traditional 3/4 beats, you'll be like just da, 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 da. So like there's more to that obviously, but like back in the day when people play upright, they wouldn't have, like I'm saying, I infuse what I learned from rockabilly and whatnot. So that little double tap. So it's like a little double. It's like a in between just doing. I do like a double slap, or not double slap, but just like a double. Oh yeah, this is a double slap. So it's like that's the big, like people call it the man, like I would say like that's my signature in a sense that that's how you can tell like, oh, Manny recorded that, because I'm just kind of, that's kind of what I just do throughout my style of playing for almost everybody, even though I differentiate lines and different slaps, but as if you hear the song throughout most times, that's what I do mostly. That's what I believe gives that people, when people say like the drum and bass feel at the same time. So
All right, let me try that. And which key is that?
it's F.
F?
For all my Spanish speakers out there, is in tono de fa, key of F.
Okay. So it's in 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's a
Yeah.
basic, right? And then
Yeah.
you add those like a 2, kind of like a palm slaps at the last third, at the last quarter. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Like
Yeah.
something like that. cool. But you also do some walk ups and walk downs, right?
Yeah, so like I said, I'll use that song for an example. Sigo chambeando. So I'm just gonna go over the verse right now. So try to remember. So, let's start by because the song starts off with like a pause, but it comes with the pause is in F already, so we're just silent right now. We're gonna go straight to a D minor. So. Then we're going to a B flat. So from the D minor to the B flat. Then we're going to a G minor. And then we're gonna go back into the A flat. So let me run that real quick. I'll go until we get back into the F. So. Before the G minor, I scale back into the F chromatically from B flat to C. And then from there, we're going to scale back into the F. So, total should sound like. That's before the chorus. That's pretty much like even if I show another example of other songs, it's kind of the basis of how I use like my what I consider them like the Manny signature, or how you can distinguish that's me on the recording.
All right. So let me try to copy Manny. So you said we're going from F to D minor. And
yeah, so
then
I mean, the song starts off in a silence, but I mean, if you can imagine, or you can even start with no silence.
okay. I think it has odd number of the bars. So, but I'll try to copy what I do remember. So it goes from F to D
F,
minor,
D minor, then G flat, then G minor, back into B flat real quick, and from that B flat, like pretty much from switching to G minor to B flat, you're already kind of scaling into going to C already.
Okay. So it's kind of like a passing note to C.
Yeah, a passing note, you could say, yeah.
And then
from C, you scale back into F, and then it kind of circulates in that motion.
Let me try. So basically, two patterns that I noticed that you're using in 3/4. It's like so 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. So that's one pattern. The other one is when you do those triplets. So right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me try the whole thing. 1 2 3 2 2 3. Oh, so it's shorter. Okay, let me try again.
That's good. That's good. Yes, that's the idea of it. Yeah, that's the idea.
Okay. Am I close to it?
Nah, you're in the ballpark, man.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I was not sure like if there's like an extra bar of C or not, or
I mean, you know a song, so
like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, but that's the basic idea of what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are the three, basically the two patterns that you're using. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Since we both have our bases here, I would like to ask you about the terminology that you're using when you're describing these different slap patterns. And earlier you mentioned double slap. So are you using that terminology that it's kind of common, like a single slap, double slap, triple slap, that type of thing?
I mean, just as based on what like when I first started learning, I would look up. I had my friends like that play Billy. They'll tell me, oh yeah, it's like a double slap, triple slap, and they had other slaps they would do too. And I'll be like, I mean, some of my stuff up today I haven't even tried or just kind of my comfort zone is what I know is what I work with so far. But I'm
All
always
right.
willing to learn. I'm always willing to learn more. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do is just single slap, double, and triple. That's what I work with so far.
Oh, okay.
And
And
this
when you say single, like, do you call this single or
yeah,
this?
I just call it single.
Okay. And how do you call this?
I don't know. I never thought about that. Say truth. I like it's good. I don't know like for what I don't know what I would call that myself. But what I do, I use that more on the one half beat songs like a ranchera style. Like yeah, I'll use that more for that kind of maybe beat.
Got it. So basically, the patterns that you're using are this or this or this or
Yeah,
triplet.
yeah,
Okay. Um, what else? Oh, I wanted to mention something. It's interesting that that pattern that we talked about. I called it double slap, but some people call it single. The one that you mentioned is a ranchera. It's kind of very similar to a Balkan style that we have it in the Balkans, in Serbia and Romania, and it's this is how the line sounds like, and it's kind of, I always thought it's in between swing and straight groove, but this is a little demonstration. And which I always thought it's kind of like interesting because you can find the similar line in country or Mexican music, but it's a little bit different.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It's true. Like I actually tried doing that, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say what I have, what I know so far is what I just work with. But yeah, I'm always willing to innovate that. But like, I've heard those styles before, and they're amazing.
yeah, it's really cool. Like it's amazing when you open yourself up like to different music styles. How much you can learn and how much you can develop your own music and your own style and approach.
Yeah.
Um, well, thanks a lot for showing me all of these the patterns and the song. What is the song called? The one that in F?
That one's called Sigo Chambeando. It's by a group called Fuerza Regida.
Okay. Have you ever covered that song like on your YouTube channel?
I haven't covered on my channel. Usually when I work for like the basis of my channel, what I would do, I'll take songs that didn't have the Toloche instrument in it, and I added those. So like I don't think any of my covers that I've done on my channel have the actual Toloche instrument in it.
Okay.
So I'll take songs that don't have either have tuba or that have bass, and I just incorporate my feeling onto what that song is. You know what I mean?
Got it. Let's leave our bases and then grab the chair so we can continue this little slap chat. All right, sorry, people, for nobody on the screen for a couple of minutes. All right, so sounds good. Sounds good. Looks good. Hopefully, it looks good. We talked about some slap bass Tololoche players. that are playing now. And I'm really glad actually you mentioned that. Most of the guys that I talk to, when they talk about their influences, they talk about like old dudes, from the 20s and 30s and 40s, and which is great. We should grab our, inspiration wherever we can find it. Um, but I'm glad that you kind of insisted on the guys that are actually around now, because I really believe that it's essential and very important to give some credits to the guys that are keeping this art alive now,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that we're now, and which is basically my main motivation for the slap stream, because all of you guys that are I have had as guests one day want to be legends, so, and then this is the way how we can document um right now when things are happening, no, not when things are gone. So I'm
yeah.
really glad that you did that. But this also leads me to another question that I wanted to ask you, as far as uh Tololoche slap bass originators, maybe the guys from the 50s or the 60s. Are there any of those old dudes that you like and that you find uh, um, uh, to be your inspiration or your base
Uh,
heroes?
I do actually. There's when I first started learning about snap bass. I don't want to say a wrong name, but I believe that the man's name is Willie Dixon.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it was Muddy Waters, I believe, right? That's kind of like my first.
absolutely.
That was my first actual like research looking back into it. And I thought he was just like really really amazing, like because it was I mean he played slap bass and whatnot, but like he wasn't like how I do like where I'm slapping all day. He was really selective, but when he would do a slap, it was really like it meant something. It wasn't just like thrown out the windows. It was really spot on. So I mean, obviously, like going back, like looking back, obviously, it's because like nowadays, I can't say music is more trashy, but like I said, like back in the day, you couldn't back in those days you couldn't be a mediocre or okay someone like okay like yeah you're okay and just go with it. And I think that's the difference from now back in then. But like I'm saying like that like looking retro wise, yeah, there was like the guy Willie Dixon. I can't name it like as far as names. I'm really bad at that. But that's someone I would say is like back from previous times that's not no longer doing things now.
And I'm glad you mentioned Willie Dixon. Like, but is there anybody from the Mexican scene, from the Conjunto scene,
That
that
I know
you?
of, no, like I couldn't say. I've seen videos of like musicians that accompanied big artists like from the 50s, like Los Alegres de Terran, Carlos y Jose, the really old 50s, 60s recordings, but to tell you who was the musician was on that recording, I don't know who they are, or to even find out who they were or anything. But the Toloche has always been incorporated since I can remember in music too. And like I said, there's bands like they're from I believe from like I don't know what part exactly from Mexico. I got a video sent in the other day. Some people were hiring. They hired a Huichol group, which is it's still Mexican music, but they use the toroche, the little guitar, and the violin. I'm talking about. So like that, I'm pretty sure Huichol music's been around for centuries, probably even. You know what I mean? It's that's like native. Like you could say almost like native Mexican music in a sense. And they've been using toroche since then. So I don't. I mean to say like, but like to actually name actual contra bass players, upright bass players from those times, I don't know names, but
What do you think? Like, when did Tololoche kind of become essential part of of Mexican music?
I think it's been essential since the days it started. I don't know exactly when norteño came about or what, but I know music from like like norteño popularized was around the 50s and 60s when artists I'm saying Les Veteran, I think they were ones that kind of like navigated to what you hear and like even like nowadays people like glorify Ramon Ayala, but even before those people even before Ramon Ayala, but I guess you can say from that point on is when it was like established, commercialized, and that's a stamp that everybody has for the vision of the beginning. But there was obviously stuff before that. But
The
I would
earliest, The earliest recordings that I've found, like with this particular style, are from the 30s, and the bass player on those recordings is Santiago Morales. Um, but I think that kind of the highlight of Tololoche bass uh, was with Juan Viesca probably, and it's with Santiago Jimenez,
Oh,
and
that's Flaco Jimenez's dad. That guy Flaco Jimenez
yes.
is a wonderful accordion player. He's really I believe he's a Grammy winner too, if I'm not mistaken.
Sorry, what was the last thing you said?
I believe he's a Grammy winner. Flaco Jimenez, I believe he won a Grammy before, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
And
But
yeah,
Juan Viesca, I don't think that Juan Viesca ever played with Flaco. I know that he played with Santiago Jimenez Senior and Junior, and there's a good CD called Santiago Jimenez First and Last Recordings, and those are like from the 30s and the 70s, I believe, and I think that Santiago Morales are playing from those recordings in the from the late 30s, and Juan Viesca on the more recent stuff. Um, but Juan's band that I really like is called the Trio de San Antonio,
oh,
and he
okay,
slapped a lot. Really cool. Um, and he was actually the one that was called El Rey. Okay, so we got like a new comment. So Juan Viesca was the first one that was called. I'm not sure like if the first one, but he was very well known as El Rey del Contrabajo.
nice.
And
Oh, see
and
that
you,
I didn't know that. I'm gonna check that out then because that's something
yeah, you
interesting.
definitely do. It's an excellent CD that I like. It has like some of the stuff. It's called San Antonio's Conjuntos from the 50s, and it was sent to me by my friend Mark Rubin, who also knows a lot, and he actually played quite a bit of conjunto back in the 90s, I think. um he probably does still do, but I think that in the 90s he played a lot, and he played with Santiago Jimenez Jr. as well. um which I think that they got nominated for the Grammy for that record, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure I remember that correctly. We have a comment from Miguel Gonzalez. Welcome, Miguel. I see that you're late to the Slapsville. Miguel also has some good old school Tololoche. Please email me some of that stuff. I would love to check that out. I'm sure Manny would love to check it out as well. Or you can just post the link under the in the in the under the video so we can all check it out. Okay, I'm glad we got a little bit into the past with the development of the style and Tololoche. Um, since you play by yourself and then you also play and played with other band leaders, I'm interested to hear uh, what would other band leaders say to you when you start slapping. Did anyone ever told you, hey, don't slap that much, or like, come on, slap more, slap all the time, stuff like that? That happens often.
I mean, it's a big range. I mean, it's something I've learned like as a studio musician over the years. Going like I told you, like my what you said. What was the advice is well, it came from actually learning from working in studios, like the control thing and like trying to get gigs and whatnot. Because at first when I started, it was like I'm saying, it was new. It was kind of new to everybody in this scene to mix that kind of sound, my sound with other artists' music. So it was music that's I was like if I wouldn't have been in the recordings, that music would I think would still be big and still be a bit hit. I think my bass is just a little cherry on the top, you know. So as far as like recording studios, I learned a lot from and it all comes down to on the artist himself, because there's artists that tell me, oh no, bro, like slap the shit, and they like keep like, oh, I need more slaps, I need more slaps. And there's been musicians that come and slap it and they go, hey bro, like I like your slapping, bro, but you gotta tone it down a little bit. I don't want that much slap. And it just varies from artist to artist. And most times, well, me all youngsters, youngsters more like the slap stuff, and I can't blame them. But there's times that I've been involved in recordings And I honestly, if I pull to recordings and I tell the artist like, hey, bro, you know, I really respect the song, but I don't think the song needs my assistance on it. I tell them, I'll take your money, you know, I'll take your money and record for you. That's that. I don't mind, but I'm gonna let you know honestly, straight up, my personal opinion. This song will do better without Toloche. You know, so there's different things, but yeah, I've been on both sides of the ends, like too much slap, not enough slap, just the right amount of slap. It just does honestly vary from artist to artist.
I agree with you, but everything sounds better with Tololoche.
I've gotten that comment, and then even then, like my friends from Medellin Patrones, they I don't like just the term just throw this term out there because I'm saying you have bass players like you. I have I can name like 10 bass players on top of my head where I feel like their skills are just so much superior than mine, but I guess those people had never heard that and they just automatically follow me to like in this realm, so they consider me the best, which I'm blessed. I don't personally consider myself the best, but if you want to label me as that and I have to just carry on with it, they gave me the term slap god. So I have a lot of youngsters that comment on me. They say slap god, and it's like, oh, it's a big title to handle. I think there's better players than me, but that's a handle that people have been telling me that I'm the slap god of them. So I appreciate it, but if I'm the slap god, there's slap Hercules and slap. There's more than me than that, but I'll take it. I'll
There's
take
other
it.
gods. Well, you have your unique style, and I believe that that's the most important thing. Um, so I'm glad you're bringing back slap like into that into this style, because it kind of died down a little bit. For a long time, people were more focused on bass guitar than upright bass, especially in the 70s and 80s, I would say.
Yeah, and then with the coming of the electric bass, it kind of just overtook the contrabass.
Yeah, it's
It was
kind of
somewhat simple to carry a little bass that fits in your hand and you just plug it up and that's it. You know,
it
I don't
was
blame them.
more
People always
simple
tell
but
me
not
like
cooler.
as some people and I get that question a lot. People are like, "Hey, bro, I'm trying to learn how. I want to buy a Tololoche. Like, what are you this and that?" And before they even start anything, I tell them, one, do you have somewhere to put it? Two, do you have something you could travel like to? Like, do you have a car that can fit the Tololoche first of all? And then three, are you willing to carry? It's like a drummer, like we have the shortness. We have a big instrument that we have to carry ourselves, and like it's not just like a guitar and accordion. You have a quick box, and boom, you're gone. This one you gotta have space for it. You gotta have time for it. You gotta get ready for them blisters. That's all.
Oh yeah.
It's like I give them the fine print before they even start off their adventure. Like I let them know. It's not just playing. It's not just learning how to play. It's like you gotta learn how to live with
You
like
handle it.
yeah, how you handling it.
Absolutely. Um, do you have, since we're talking about youngsters and people that are actually starting with this instrument, um, do you have any advice, like a different advice, like, or if you can point out some of the mistakes that you maybe made in the past, and then maybe tell them, hey, do not do this, like go a different path or something, that would help him out, like with some kind of guidance.
I mean, guys, like whenever the kids ask, like I get that question a lot actually, like from like in the like that's like people ask for like advice and stuff like that. Like I can't necessarily tell you. The main thing I always tell kids when they ask me for advice about slapping and all that stuff, I just tell them I let them know that it's always about the quality of the sound over the speed, because people tend to think like just because I'm slapping, that's what makes like nah, you gotta slap it. Make sure that slap is clear. Make sure your tone is clear. You're not just smacking. You're not just smacking the smack and smacking whatever. You know what I mean? So my main thing would say is quality over actual just speed. That's my main thing.
I like that advice. And do you have any recommendations for, again, for other players, like what to practice on a daily base?
I mean, I can't. I honestly I can't say 'cause I only practice. Like I said, what I've learned from the electric bass, and I just switch over to my upright. But what I can say is like if you really feel you have a good sense of playing bass, if you have like a certain bass line you like, or just handle on to and trying to play with the upright bass. Like that's how I would start playing the upright bass and doing my lines. And the lines I would do already, I would try to just add the slapping into them to incorporate that sound. So that's what I would say. Like whatever bass lines you like doing, and just convert them into if you want to try and play slap bass, learn how to convert those same lines while tapping in different bass, those styles of bass. Because right now, a lot of youngsters, I believe, they don't understand the concept of like they just figure I'm in the key and like a slap, that's all you need. It's like, nah, you gotta understand kind of what you're doing in a sense. Not, I mean, I can't say here and be like, oh, that's a I'm not really good with music theory and all that stuff. I'm barely like right now in the pandemic. I'm barely trying to get into learning, like like getting down the basis of music theory and scales, and because it's not just one. I just when I started off, I just learned the major scale, all my tones, and that was it. That's all I based off of. And luckily, there was people accepted that. But honestly, in this growing world, I think we as musicians have to eventually kind of like wake up one day, even though like because there's a lot of talented musicians that they don't know anything about music. There's natural talented people. But at the end of the day, is the ones that succeed and keep going are the ones that actually take time to learn their business, pretty much. So I mean, right now I'm in the myself learning, like pentatonic scales. I didn't know I was doing those things already, but I didn't know what they were. So I mean, obviously knowing your things is gonna help you understand, communicate well. It's like a language, So the more languages the more languages you know, the more you can communicate.
It is a language, and it's the most beautiful language. Um, Before the show, like, do you have like a special way how do you warm up, or you just go straight and just grab a bass and
I'm really
start?
bad right now. Like right now, my main thing I've been focusing during this pandemic right now is mostly my vocals. I have noticed that ever since I left the tour, I've been getting really lazy with my bass. I mean, I do grab my bass here and there, but like not as much when I was like I would say pre-tour, pre 2019. I was grabbing my bass all the time, all day. And now because I'm not just a bass player no more. I'm actually a singer too. I'm focused on recently. I've been focusing more on my vocalization and making sure I'm because my Spanish is horrible. And it's funny because I sing Spanish music, but so I'm focusing on trying to like perfect my Spanish and pronouncing, making sure. Cause at the end of the day, it's all about people feel my feeling. So I can if they really accept my feeling and I perfect the Spanish part of it, I think it should even be better.
You know, we have like most of us have lots of free time during the pandemic, but you know it's hard to find inspiration. So I'm glad you're using this free time to do something new and develop yourself as a musician even more, which is great. When you play shows, do you have any special way how to find the feedback?
Yeah. Actually, I have different bases for different situations. Like this is my baby. This one's been riding with me for about 3 years already, 4 years maybe. And this one I should do have rigged up. What I believe for live sound performances. This bass personally for like just mic recordings, I wouldn't really take it. I don't like the. I don't think it has enough. I don't think it has enough like acoustic bassing in it. But what I do have this one set up for my live. The sound post inside. I believe I have a second one installed, so that stops the vibration of the actual whole body from getting that your common low end feedback when you're on stage. And I use a K&K Rockabilly Bass Pro pickup with the preamp, and that's the setup I've been using for a couple years already, and it's been pretty badass. And that's when I go on stage like this thing, I can pretty much crank full volume, and we've been from the Microsoft Theater to open field events, and it's I mean you can feel the rumble, and I don't get that low end feedback.
That's great that you don't have to deal with that, because that could be a nightmare.
Oh, I mean,
Um,
luckily, honestly, with the tour, we had a really good sound engineer. We had actually two. We had somebody working the monitors, and we had someone working the front. So it was really. I mean, luckily, the tour invested a lot. The company invested a lot of money into making sure the production was good for not just the people, but for the artists. So
mhm.
that helped out a lot too. But luckily, I mean, honestly, when I can go to almost any gig, and the problems I had, the worst problem thing I had with this bass is a dead battery. You know, on the
Yeah,
preamp.
well, that's a good, that's a good, good worst thing to happen.
Yeah, so
Um,
like, but as far as like, 'cause before this bass, it was troubling to like, I'll try to pull to a private party, and I couldn't crank it how I want to crank it. There'd be the famous low end vibration, the low end feedback, and it hurts your heart so bad when you're just trying to like jam it and you can't control that feedback.
we have a few new people here, and District 66, regards from Spain. Saludos de España.
Oh, saludos,
Saludos.
saludos a mi raza de España.
All right. Um, but by the way, you're late. Like we've been talking for almost 2 hours. Next time, don't be late in Slapsville. Um, I'm joking. You're welcome anytime. John Stenzel wrote earlier. Did you say rock urbano or something else? Talking about this current scene.
As I call it, regional urbano. 'Cause right now, I think the term is the general term is regional mexicano, because the same thing.
Uh,
That means Mexican region music. But I mean, like I said, it's hard to compare what's happening now. So like you could say, because it's Jose, like I said, people from the 50s, 60s, Jose Alfredo Jimenez, Vicente Fernandez, that's still regional mexicano, and I don't think that's fair to say what's going on now is still regional mexicano. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? They're too far apart and two different influential things. So they're trying to give it now the title of regional urbano. I think it's perfect because it is kind of its own creation. You know what I mean?
I understand. It's Mexico has so much to offer as far as culture goes. So
Yeah, it does, man.
it's really every time I go there, I'm again and again more impressed with the culture, with food, with people, everything. I just love Mexico. I can't wait to go back to Mexico. Um, we touched the subject on about your gear, but I would like to get a little bit deeper into it. You mentioned that you use a K&K Rockabilly Special pickup and the preamp, right?
Yeah,
That's the one with two pickups, right? You use one for slap and one
yeah. One
piezo
on
on
the
the
bridge.
bridge.
Another one that I really like, but I haven't installed on another base of mine is the Shadow. The Shadow's a really
Okay.
nice. That one's a really nice pickup. I believe it's better than this one, but so this one, like pretty much this is what has fed me and what has keep me going. I don't want to touch this. This base to me is molded to what it needs to be. And I don't want to mess with this so far.
Yeah,
But
awesome.
on my other bases, I have the Shadow of I think it's called Rockabilly Pro. That pickup it's kind of it's almost the same concept, but that one actually has like a million functions on it. You could add the deep bass. You can it has functions per day. This is more like a simple one, just volume. You have settings inside, but I guess the other one's more practical. You could say.
I don't think that I tried Shadow's Rockabilly pickup. Um, John Stenzel is thanking you for clarifying the style that you mentioned. Cloudberry is asking you a question, and I should just actually I'm going to ask you this after we are done with the gear. Um, so, how many bases you have?
I have I have four bases.
Four upright bases.
Four upright bases. This is my main base. This is like my main squeeze baby, but this one's more of a when I need to plug up and play or plug up like for like this because a lot of times with the Rancho Humilde, not just Rancho Humilde, but I use that example a lot because they're the ones that mainly give me work. There's other companies out there that they do their share too. I really appreciate them as well. But like I said, they've always blessed me with work. Rancho Humilde. Also, their concept is they always do live. Apart from being just a video, it's a live session. So as we were playing, we're recording a song, and well, it's always easier just to plug something up, and there's no mic bleeding or anything. So this bass is like I have basses for certain uses. So this bass I usually use when I need to do like just a plug and play pretty much kind of deal. Like I said, I don't really like the acoustics on it, but you can kind of imagine it as an electric bass almost. You know, like where I muted it, put a sound post inside, and this is my bass for plugging and playing or recording while plugged up. And then the other basses, I have one bass that has like a bunch of stickers on it. It's the story behind that bass is funny. Everyone will talk about it in a bit, but that bass has an amazing acoustic. There's times I've gonna play gigs where people are all like, well, I'm not saying we have like a full sound system, but we'll use like a little 12-inch, maybe like a 12-inch monitor, and the vocals are plugged up, the accordion's plugged, like it has a mic on it. The Bajo Quinto has plugged into the monitor, and I'll be full on acoustic, and I'm able to hang with them still and still sound loud with them. So that bass for me, that's what I use when I have to play either like a cemetery gig or a gig where like like it's not, we have to be loud but not too loud in a sense. Or if I have to go record in the studio, I 10 times rather take my other bass. I'd rather take that bass any day of the week because it's just the acoustics on it is ridiculous.
Huh. And
And then
what
I
kind
have
of bass is that?
huh? I don't,
What kind
that bass is brandless and like if you want, I'll
brand
tell you
is
a story about it right now. Just we're already talking about it. So that bass, my friend, actually my friend Manuel, my successor from my band, also my business partner. He he's really a instrument like enthusiast collector. So he's really deep about woods, about all that kind of stuff. So when he got me this bass, he didn't get it for him, but he helped me find this bass. And the bass that I have right now is the one I'm telling you, the acoustic bass. I'll try to see if I can get this one and bring it out right now. I have right now. I have full of stickers, and that bass. If I tell you how much I got it for, you'll laugh. So we found it. I found it on Opera. It had like a small crack on the side. It wasn't a crack, but the thing was that this guy had it in a garage, and something fell on top of it. So that falling, whatever fell on top of it, just kind of like cracked the bass. But the bass had nothing wrong. It wasn't. There's still nothing wrong with it up to date. There's no extra cracking or the neck's not falling off. Nothing. It just something fell on top of it and it cracked the top layer. And just because of that, the guy was selling it for like 150 or something like that, or I don't know how much it was. But my friend's a real good bargainer. And at the end, I think we took the base for like $120, maybe $100.
wow.
Yeah, like real cheap, real cheap. And then on top of that, I take it to my friends out in there's a shop out here in Pasadena called FMI. I don't know if you're familiar. That's the Fantastic Musical Instruments.
Yeah.
So I take it out there. That's my go-to store for anything, any kind of setup, anything I need done my basses. I always take it there. And then so I get there, and the guy's like, "Oh, this is a bad bass and that." And then I guess the strings they had it on originally, there were some good strings. There were steel strings, and I don't know what kinds they were. But my friend goes, "Hey, what are you gonna do with those strings?" And I'm like, "I don't know," because I use more like the nylon tape texture style strings, and my buddy goes, "I'll give you $50 store credit for that." So you're like in total, I think I got the bass for like, what's including the store credit. I think I walked out with like $80 maybe, or like $70 for the bass. So it was like that's probably like my most come up of a bass ever in my life, and I was just like, to see that I only paid so little for it and how much money it's made me and how much production it's been in. It's like it's a really special bass.
That's a cool story. Thanks for sharing it. And so you mentioned strings. So where do you get your strings?
If my anything related wise for like basses, I always recommend everybody. They don't sponsor me anything, but Fantastic Musical Instruments is always my go-to for everything. They've always provided me with good information. And every time I have like a certain problem or anything, or any question, I always go to his guy's name. There is Tom. Do you ever go? Let him know Manny Toloche sent you, and they'll take care of you guys. He's really cool. I mentioned to my problems or what exactly I'm looking for, or what I'm doing. He'll find a way to help me out, and it's. I mean, like, I think maybe that's why I have my certain sound as well, because I've always gone back to him and asked him, "Hey, I want this or I need this," and you know. You know
It's good to have a. It's important to have a guy that you can trust.
the regalo. It's really too. Okay. My wife brought my bass. Let me show you guys the
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
The written ones on the way back.
Yeah. I this one I'm trying to develop new strings, so this one the strings don't sound that great. But the strings I had on before this set, it was the Eurosonic lights, and those are really amazing strings. These strings are prototype. I'm working also on selling my own strings, but this is the bass. You can see it's full of stickers. So my goal for this bass is to just rack. I want to fill the whole thing up with stickers, and this is the crack I was talking about right here. This little crack right here is why the bass went down so much. So you can see something just fell on top of it. And I mean, up to date, it hasn't had no effect on the sound, but like the sound on this is it's not tuned, but the bass. I don't know how good you guys can hear it, but the acoustic is just so different from this one. It's like really. I hope you guys can hear a difference, but this deep end is way different.
You know, it's hard. I can hear the difference. It's a little hard to say, like from the this tiny speaker, computer speaker. But maybe some of our viewers. What do you think? Let us know in the comments.
If you guys have headphones on, I'm pretty sure you can tell the difference if you have like headphones on. But
yeah.
This one is just so rich and like I'm telling you, I got it for so cheap. But this is my baby. This is usually in the studio. When I have to go record with the mic on, everybody tells me, "Oh, bring this one, bring this one, bring this one." I got in the studio with
really?
that one.
Wow.
I got a studio with that one, and they always tell me, "Oh, can you bring the other one?" But yeah, so this one, I mean, I thought it was I put one sticker on and I had another sticker. Before I knew it, I even like went on like, if you got stickers out there, feel free to bring your sticker and slap it on. My goal is to fill the whole base with stickers to make it like a unique, hopefully one day like a memorable base for the future.
Where's the sub sticker?
The sub sticker is way down here. I have a couple of stickers. This is my first. Oh, sorry, I get it wrong. So that's
okay, I see it.
Then
I see it.
My logo sticker right here on the front board.
All right.
And the rest are just stickers, either people's businesses or people that have they have really cool stickers and they give them to me. I have friends' businesses. I have clothing companies. I have stickers that I bought when I was on tour. Like I got like pit stops.
That's a sticker base, and you have two more, right?
Yeah, I have one more. My one's being the last one in. Well, I have another one, but I want to get right now. I can't grab it. It's not.
No. I mean, don't have to grab it. I was just curious. What are the other bases?
I'm gonna show you one more base. This is a really unique base. This is a base that is not so much a good base, but a good friend of mine from Washington. His name's Alex from G Customs. It's a hand engraved base. I think it's really interesting. I think I would like show you guys.
All right. There's always time for more bases. Let's hear Manny's third base.
So this one's I'm gonna take off the stance and give you guys a little better.
Wow.
Sorry. Did my sound cut off again?
No. I hear you.
My sound cut off.
Oh, now I don't see you and I cannot hear you. Okay, let's see.
Sorry, I think my sound cut off again. Sorry about that.
No worries.
But here he goes. So this one's like hand engraved, the whole base.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So this guy, I believe it took like 7 months. But I mean, he did everything. He did the bridge. He did. I'll try to see if we can link up one day and show it to you in person. It's a beautiful piece. It's all it's all hang. He even did like the border of the base itself, all the walls, the back. I mean, it's like it's almost art. My sub logo hand engraved somehow.
Yeah.
He this guy really took his time, and
he definitely did.
He even got on my
base is special.
Oh yeah, it's super special to me. Yeah, so that's it's one of my, you can say, like, prized possessions.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see it. Why?
Yeah, so I mean, this is something really special to me. It was he was a fan of mine, and he something he wanted to do, but it's a really bitchin' bass.
Absolutely. Wow, it's amazing. So is he a bass maker or
No, actually,
he's an
he's
artist?
just he's a man of a million uses, man. He's from Washington. He's a fan of the music. He did a guitar for a couple of artists. He also did he did a couple of guitars for some of my friends as well, other artist friends. And he was just a fan. He reached out to me one day, and I was like, yeah, bro, like, let's just do it. Like, I thought he worked with before. And originally he asked me, like, what did I want on the bass. I told him, you know what? I don't know what I want. So if anything, since you already have the idea, or you have like the wanting of doing it, just do what you gotta do what you want to do. And that's what came out, and I love it.
Yeah, I can see why. And what kind of bass is that?
I'm not sure. To tell you, that was my second bass. It's not it doesn't have a tag or a brand or anything. I'm guessing it's kind of like maybe like a plywood China bass, but I mean,
Uh-huh. Oh, so you gave him your bass and then he did the painting and everything?
yeah, it was a bass that I had laying around the house that it was just kind
Got
of
it.
not doing anything. So
Cool. Well, do you name your basses?
do I name them?
Yeah.
No, I can't. I think I should start naming them, but not, for right now, no, I don't name them.
People love your bass. You see, District 666, insane upright bass. Sick, uh, Tornham, super cool bass. Sweet, neat bass. Love the sticker Ponte de Pilas, like on the sticker base.
Oh yeah, and those are actually, I believe those are from Mexico.
Oh yeah, okay.
My wife went to Monterrey. She's from Monterrey, and she went out to go visit there. And there's a company out there they have their own brand. They're called Raitors. They take they're kind of like an urban clothing company too. They take a lot of norteño concepts, like norteño music concepts, and make them like urban shirts. Pretty cool. Pretty cool brand.
Jose Arana said that upright needs a bull fiddle cat sticker. Well,
Yeah.
I never made bull fiddle.
I was over there. I didn't know that she was over there, and she met up with the guys, and they blessed me with a couple stickers. So some of the actual stickers from Mexico, from Monterrey.
That's so cool. So, and you mentioned that you're working on your signature bass strings, right?
Yeah. So the other bass I have, it's like a prototype. I'm learning how trying to do like because like I'm always getting questions about like what kind of strings I use and what this. So like I figured why not make my own, try to make my own brand and branch out. Like I said, make what MANNY TOLOLOCHE is into a bigger concept, not just a bass player.
And so how do you make your strings?
I'm working with a company right now from East LA. They're called Guadalupe Strings. I don't know if you heard of them.
Uh-huh.
And they those guys are amazing. They can make almost anything. And right now the ones that I demonstrated, it's like a nickel style wound silk string from the top. I didn't really like the A and D string. They're full on nylon wrap. They're okay, but I think we're still working some kinks. But I really love the nylon G string and the silk wound string. The strings that for me are like to go to, honestly, is between the innovation ultra blacks or the innovation ultra blacks or the Eurosonic the lights. They're like I'm not they're tape wound. They're flat and they're not like how like most nylon strings are with they're wrapped around so you can feel like a little grooving cut. These are all taped like a tape style, so it's all flat wound.
How often do you have to change them?
They last a while, I'll tell you the truth. This one, I believe, the black strings I just changed not too long ago. The ultra blacks, I believe my other ones I had them for like about before on the yellow bass I had the Eurosonics for like about a year and a half, and then these I just changed at the beginning of the year. So this one probably have like 2 months maybe.
Ah, okay.
But I
So
mean, tell you the truth, I don't know. I'm not. I need to. Maybe something I need to look up myself. I don't really look into that. But as far as like telling people to switch the strings, to me, as long as they still sound cool, you should be, hold on to them as long as you can. I guess. Maybe I should be switching my strings more often. I'm not sure. But as far as me, they last. The pair before that lasted like about a year and a half.
nice. Okay. Um, so we talked about your basses, your strings, your pickups. Do you use any pedals or any effects?
For my stuff, no, but I've been looking into it because I mean, it is 2021 and we have to experiment, kind of keep innovating. I mean,
Yeah,
you can't do the same thing forever. It's eventually it gets old and people want at the end of the day, people want something new. It's always gonna be like that. So we gotta be kind of pioneers and try to innovate and stay within what's going on.
absolutely. I agree with that. What kind of amps do you play?
This my right now I use the Mark bass. It's the Marcus Miller series. It has 3/8 and a tweeter amp. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure what model it is, but for me, I've always liked Mark bass. Their bass amps for me are what like it's one, they're lightweight, and two, I think the sound from them is amazing. I'm not really familiar like as far as I like Ampeg. Ampeg's nice too. I've used a couple Ampegs. But for me, at the end of the day, like as far as like gigging wise and like as far as traveling and weight and construction, for me it has to be Mark Base. That's what I've been using.
Um, when you record your bass, do you have like any specific way how do you do that?
Like I said, it depends on the engineer. If I go to the studio, usually they what they do is hook up some sort of either like a drum mic, like a bass drum mic, or a really good condenser mic to grab the low end. They'll bring it down to about. It's because also there's different engineers have different concepts, but mainly they focus on bringing it down to about like the F holes, the F hole area. Either in front of the F hole, I had engineers go like directly in front of the bass by the bridge. Every engineer has their own concept of where the bass comes from, like the sound. But generally, it's around this area, and then they'll put one on top to capture the slap sound. So they usually, like, for recording wise, they'll use the two mic setup. And then when I go to studios where they don't want to bother with that, they'll just go directly into the pickup, and the pickup has two channels, so it's the same concept, high and low, and that's pretty much it.
So always two channels, sometimes two mics, and sometimes it's a pickup.
Like for live performances, it's always gonna be the pickup directly, and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you could mic up a bass, I'm pretty sure, but I don't know. I haven't met an engineer that's willing. One, first of all, willing to do that, and two, actually make it sound good.
Yeah, and lots of things can go wrong, like if you just do that, especially if you play louder gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, talking about feedback. Um, what would you say as far as your recordings, studio recordings? I mean, and YouTube videos. What are the songs that represent your slap style the best?
I mean, I'm blessed to be able. I'm blessed on various recordings that I did, that I've been involved in. The one I mentioned earlier, Sigo Chambeando. That was one I'm telling you, it's already about. I think it's about almost 200 million views. Cosas de la Clica is another song. That one's from my friends Etienne Patrones. I believe is up there too, like in the 100 million plus views. My personal music is I have two different songs that reach 1 million views. I mean, it's obviously not 100 million views yet, but it's reached out. Like for sure, I know at least 1 million people have heard my music. And I mean, every time I go record, I'm always posting the artists that I record with. I record with artists big and small. So I mean, it's for I say for the most part is just the main artists I mentioned and my music. But I'm pretty sure, hopefully, there's gonna be another artist out there that needs my help, and there's gonna be another song added to that list.
Do you like you're now you started talking more about like playing with other people. So what do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy more like being a side man, a part of someone else's band, or be your own boss and your own leader?
I mean, it's give and take because like as me as an independent artist, it's wonderful being an independent artist, but it's also very difficult because in order to do things you need money, like as far as vid. I mean it's not really expensive or anything. I mean it's expensive, but like, it's not something where you're like, oh my god, how am I ever gonna get out of this rut, or how am I gonna pay for that? There's always ways and things you can do. Like my big benefit if I need to do things is, all right, just trade work for work. All right, I need this done. I'll record some Toloche for you. You know, it's for me it's really easy to get around and to use what I have as my advantage. But I like both worlds because at the end of the day, I'm Manny Tololoche, and that represents me as an artist, and I'm also Manny Tololoche as the actual upright player. Because at the end of the day, I believe I'm the artist, but I left my footprint somewhere where I believe I still need to be there in a sense. So what I like more, I gotta say I like more me being an artist. But do I not like doing what else I do? Of course, I love being a part of. I mean, I'm telling you, these are projects that have reached over 100 million views. That to me, that's insane. I would never think I would be a part of something,
That
that
makes
big. When I
that's
really started
amazing.
my project as an artist, the only reason I ever did like anything before my friend told me was because I was just tired of like I tell you, I would always get calls for people and they'll be like, hey bro, I need music. But then another question that would pop up a lot would be, oh, do you have videos on YouTube? Or do you have videos I could check you out before I book you? And I'll be like, thinking in my head, like, I don't. So, like the main reason, one of the reasons I started that Manny Tololoche thing was so people could, like when they call me, they'll be like, hey, do you have videos? I'll be like, oh yeah, I do have videos. Go check it out. And my first aim wasn't like I want to be popular. It was kind of like an accident.
It's more organic.
My math in my head was if I can get one video to 1,000 views, that's for sure at least like 3 new clients. I don't know where that math came from, but that was my logic in my head. Like, all right, if I get at least 1,000 views on one video, that's at least 3 new clients for my roster, and that hopefully that's 3 more clients that are gonna feed my family. And
Awesome.
those thousand views that were in my head, and 3 clients turned into a million plus views, and I'm just like, holy shit, like it's kind of like it's a trip.
Well, congratulations on that for sure. Um, a question about touring. When you tour, how important it is for you to have your own bass? Do you ever use a bass that it's provided by a backline, or you always travel with yours?
Luckily, I didn't have many problems with that. Luckily, most of the time the tour was travel on ground, so that was a big plus. And we were on a tour bus, so I was able just to put my bass in the, either the gig bag or a hard case and put it in the undercarry, and we're good to go. For the gigs that I did have to travel like on plane, that made it more difficult. Luckily, I talked to the guys from FMI, and they had I don't know if you're familiar with the Eminence upright bass, the travel bass.
Yes, yes.
So luckily they had 2, and one was left-handed. So they were able to rent one out to me for whenever I go out to I have to go leave it in plane, and they would put it in a. I hope I don't know if I have a picture or not, but if not, I'll try to find one. But it would come in like a golf a hard case, like a hard case for golf clubs. It would fit in that. So like that made it so easy. It would look funny because like a little skinny, like a super skinny bass, but I mean the sound it would get off the pickup was ridiculous. I didn't expect it to be that great, and it was. It came through for me during that tour. So traveling wise it was not no hassle at all.
That's nice. I toured once with a travel bass, Colstein bass in this case, and it was I think I had a pretty good sound, and I was happy with it. It felt a little bit weird having the
It,
like such
it
a small
does.
bass.
Yeah, it does because it's really small. And then at first, the one I originally used came with a stand. And at first, I was trying to use with a stand. And it was a mess. But yeah, once I got the hang of it, it was easy. And then people would trip out when they'll see me taking it apart. They'll be like, "What the hell?" Like,
Yeah.
it was a cool like conversation starter or like a quick like people it would attract people.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. You know, how do you feel? Do you have like a do you have one more song in you?
Yeah, yeah, bro. We can do one more song.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, let's do that. Let me pull this back a
All right,
little bit.
people. This is Manny Tololoche. He's gonna play it just for you.
Okay. Oh. All right. All right. So I'll play for you guys. I'll play for you guys my first composition as an artist. The song is called "The Cinco a Cinco." Unfortunately, it has like a lot of stops and it has like certain parts, but I'm gonna just play through it as simple as I can. The song's called "The Cinco a Cinco." My first song written and produced and available out on all digital platforms. Called "The Cinco a Cinco" for all you guys. Ya son las 5 de la tarde, llegó la hora de pelarme, porque esta noche hay desmadre, cálenle, nadie puede pararme. Una lata alta para empezar, oro blanco para respirar, de la verde para relajar, porque esta vida voy a deleitar. Llegando con mis conocidos, porque en realidad no hay amigos. Algunos son sinceros y otros vivos, algunos convertidos en enemigos. So like a little quick piece of that song.
That's awesome, man. I love it. It's called Cinco Cinco.
The sequence from 5 to 5.
Ah, 5 to 5. Got it. Um, you know, there was a couple questions that I wanted to read for you that I cannot find now. I believe someone asked you what is the height of your strings.
Actually,
know?
I'm pretty low. I'm a really low right now. I'll show you guys right now because that's another question I get. Like, hey, bro, like, you know, this and that. So I'll show you guys. I write kind of like low. I'm like, I would say like almost jazz down.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I found that. That was Thornham. He wrote, "Do you have high action on your bass?"
No, I think it's pretty low. I don't think it's that high. I ran the bass players that have like, you know, like this much of a difference, and they work with that. But I don't know. I've really been. This is like my style of setup. Like some of my friends from FMI always set me up my bass like this, and I feel like this is like, for me, this is what works for me.
Awesome. Someone is asking you again. Like I'm trying to find these questions. I think there was one more. Oh yeah, Cloudberry is asking you, what is your favorite Star Wars movie and character?
Damn, favorite one, probably The Empire Strikes Back, and my favorite character has to be Chewbacca.
All right. So there you go, Cloudberry. I did not forget about your question. So I think we covered pretty much everything. Is there anything that you would like to say or mention, or like?
I mean, other than subscribe to both our channels, support your local bass players, and hopefully I'm here for a long time to provide everybody with good music. You can check out my music any digital platform. Just look up MANNY TOLOLOCHE and check me out. Hopefully, people there's your followers out here as well. Saludos to all your followers, and hopefully they come and join the MANNY TOLOLOCHE train as well.
Yes, all the links going to be in the description. And I have one last question. What inspired you to still do what you do?
I mean, one is have have my family to feed, and two, honestly, I don't think I can go back. Hopefully, I'm able to live off this for the rest of my life. But I don't feel, I haven't worked since I haven't had like an actual punching job since 2000. I want to say like 2014, 15 maybe, when last time I had actual punching job. And honestly, I don't see myself going back to that. So I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying like I honestly I don't want to go back to that. I like being my own boss. I like working for I like going to work and enjoy my work. So that's what keeps me like going. And all my fans, I mean, there's people that go out of their way to tell me that they like what I do, and so that's I can't just leave people that like that, take that for granted. So I really want to do something with this. Like I said, leave my footprint. Maybe not as probably the greatest person in the world, but hopefully as maybe a stepping stone into what eventually was going to be in the future or something. Leave my little landmark and just keep pushing. Just provide my family with a roof over their head and some food.
I definitely see that you will be, your music career just gonna grow and grow. And I wish you all the best. And thanks a lot for being a part of the Slap stream and for joining us here in Slapsville. This was a special episode. I always love talking conjunto bass, and thanks for showing me your little slap tricks, and to all our viewers. And I can't wait to go to one of those parties with you.
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep in contact, bro. Like I said, it's been a while since
Absolutely.
we did a jam session, but next time we do have a jam session, I'll for sure. I'll invite you. If you have time to come over, then by all
Let's
means.
do it. Let's make it happen. All right, thanks, man. Good luck with everything. Good luck with your, to your family and with your music career, with your new single. I'll make sure to check it out and post on Art of Slap Bass social media. And looking forward to seeing you play live.
All right, sounds good to me, man.
All righty. All right, folks. Thanks a lot for joining us here in Slapsville for the 36th episode. We came to an end. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes. That's something, right? When I started like doing these, I thought that I would do maybe 45 minutes, 1 hour or something, but it's been crazy. Before we finish, I would like to thank to all the supporters of the channel. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and check out the Patreon in the description of the video. And if you want to donate, check out Venmo and PayPal. And also, I would like to give a shout out to all the Patreons and the new Patreon that we got like since the last time, Joe Fick. Thank you, Joe, for your donation and supporting the channel. And also thanks to Jake Taylor, Dan Rondeau, Jose Arana, Etienne Rouzet, Mikey, Paul Moomaw, Evill, Richard Tralles, Scott Owen, Bob Cullen, Kurt Ribak. And thanks to all of you for being here and for joining us every Saturday. And Jose just wrote, one of the best things about this show is the long time format. I have, I wanted to do it like shorter, but it's just not happening. It is what it is. It's got to stay like this. I want to present all these artists, and then I don't think that's 2 hours or 3 hours is enough. But have to drink water sometimes as well. And there was a question from District 66. A part of buying an upright bass, where should the greenhorn begin? Is there any online academy or classes online? District 66, please send an email to contact at artofslapbass.com, and you will get all the information. Or you can check out the Patreon in the description. I mean, you can do both. There are some lessons over there as well. Okay, I can't wait to see you next time. And in the meantime, don't forget, never fret, slide it in smooth, and keep it in the groove. I'm Djordje. This was 36th episode of the Slap Stream live in Slapsville, and I will see you next Saturday.